If I could have your attention, please. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know there's several people that still need to sign in, and that's fine. You're not going to miss anything. There are several items of housekeeping we need to get off the agenda, so we'll go ahead and clear those out while we're waiting for everybody to get signed in. So the meeting has been called to order. Do we have anybody that's on the agenda this morning that wants to withdraw their case, maybe to another time as a deferral, or just withdraw altogether? And if not, our agenda will stand as published. We have a court recorder here with us this morning that's taken a transcript of our proceedings. The court recorder is provided at the expense of Wilson County. If you would like a transcript of a particular case, that would be at your expense. And to obtain the transcript, you would need to see the court recorder at the conclusion of our meeting today. As a reminder, if everyone would please silence your cell phones. Another reminder is that the meeting is being videotaped for presentation on Wilson County TV, so you can take a look at it after the fact if you need to. If you forget what happened and want to go back and take a look, it will be posted on that YouTube channel. When I do call each case, I'll read the case and case number, and then we'll get staff recommendations from Mr. Lawless, and then we'll ask for whoever is representing that particular case to come forward and make whatever comments you want to make in front of the board. And then after the applicant has made their comments and had that opportunity, we'll ask if anyone else wishes to address the case, either in support or in opposition. And I did note that we would get the staff recommendations from Mr. Lawless. He'll read those, and the board will rely on those or consider those recommendations as we work through the agenda. To the members of the board, you have your minutes from the month of October. Are there any corrections that need to be made to the minutes from October? And if there are no corrections, do I hear a motion to approve October's minutes?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second by Mr. Manning. Any discussion? And if not, all those in favor of approving the minutes vote aye.
Aye.
All opposition vote no, and the ayes have it. To the members of the board, you have in your packet a calendar for the proposed meeting dates for all of 2026 and January of 2027. Does anyone wish to comment on the proposed agenda? And if not, I move that we adopt the, the calendar for the board. If not, I move that we adopt our calendar for 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Discussion? And if not, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. Now, to those of you in line and everybody else, if you plan to make a statement in front of the board, you need to be sworn in. So at this time, if you do plan to speak, raise your right hand. Ma'am, you're writing, you need to raise your right hand. Okay, there you go. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you're about to give in front of this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. All right. As we hear each case, we'll give everyone who wants to speak on that case, pro or con. We'll have a public comment period for each individual case. But the state of Tennessee requires us to have a general public comment period before our meeting begins. Not about any particular case, but about any issue you'd like to address the board about. So is anyone here this morning that wants to address the board during the general public comment period? And again, we'll give everybody the opportunity to speak on the individual cases as we work through the agenda. And if there's not, then we will close the public comment period. And with that said, I'm going to hold up just a minute, let everybody finish signing in, and then we'll get started through the agenda. So everybody just sit tight. We'll get going just in a minute. be done signing in by the time we got through with that.
Too fast.
Every excuse is, no excuse. Barely even heard of them.
Well, at least you got all that out of the way, though.
Every one of us, I'm trying to think, every reason in the world, there is no excuse to do
You need gloves. You warming your hands up for it.
Please. I know. What the, just unblow.
I can't believe you're out here in a short sleeve shirt. I don't love it.
Go time to time and then. Well, you get here.
That's the answer for you.
Yeah.
We're surprised you're still alive.
One day my daughter-in-law said, "Where's my home?" 66. You know, you don't get any Christmas presents, do you?
I believe we're gonna have a lot of people testify today. You expecting that or not?
I don't know. Did not know.
Well, maybe a row in.
Okay. I think now we're okay to get started. Our first case is case 4348. Lisa Mattern is requesting an additional variance of 8 feet from the west side yard setback requirement of 20 feet. A variance was given by the board on July 17, 2025, allowing the proposed mobile home to be 15 feet from the west side property line. If the additional variance is approved, the proposed mobile home will be a total of 7 feet from the west side property line. The property is located at 5885 Franklin Road, parcel 23.04 on Wilson County Tax Map 101. It consists of 2.7 acres. It's zoned A1 agricultural. We'll get staff recommendations on 4348.
Mr. Chair, based off our field review, the variance that will actually be needed when we measured it out there would be a 10-foot variance, an additional variance from the site based on the proposed new home. So I have amended my comments to reflect that. The applicant is requesting an additional variance of 10 feet from the west side yard setback requirement of 20 feet, allowing the mobile home to be 5 feet from the west side property. A variance of 5 feet was given by this board on July 17, 2025. The original plat for this property was submitted in August of this year and has been approved and recorded. That plat, when the initial variance was granted, showed the existing home, and to staff's knowledge at that time, the new proposed home was going to fit within the constraints of that. That is not the case, and that's where the additional variance request comes in, is the new proposed home is going to be larger than what is existing on the property. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the side yard setback variance for this case.
Okay, who's here to represent 4348 Mattern? Yes, ma'am.
Well, when we were here last,
Feedback. I forgot to say something earlier. When you come to the podium, if you would please give us your name and address so they can get it on the transcript. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lisa Mattern, 5885 Franklin Road, Lebanon, Tennessee.
And what would you like to tell the board, ma'am?
And when we were here last, I thought we were doing it on the new home. It is being put in the same spot. It's just longer. I have been told that that they need 76 feet, and it will be 20 feet from the other side. And I'm just requesting that it be that, and I do have someone, Mr. Evans, that owns the property next to mine. So I'm just requesting that this be approved so that I can provide a new home for my family.
So this is your residence?
Yes, it is.
And you're replacing the home that's already there?
Yes.
Okay. And Christopher, if you would, please give us just a little bit of explanation on how come we have, is this the one where we've got an approved plat?
There is an approved plat on file for the property, yes, and it shows the existing home at present, which is 15 feet off the property line. So the variance that you approved in July
That
is,
approved plat reflects the existing home.
yes, sir.
And that plat did not reflect this variance.
It does not, no. It's the plat reflects the existing home, not what it was proposed.
And is or is not a old lot?
Well, it's a new lot as of August of 2025. It was never platted prior to then.
Okay.
The lot itself is probably an older lot, yes, but it had just never been platted.
But you are saying it probably is an old lot.
Yeah, I did not double check the deeds on that one prior to this meeting, but it had never been platted.
Okay. All right, good deal. And does the board have questions for the applicant?
When it was platted or whatever the right word in July 17th, was the existing dwelling on it at that time?
Yes, the existing dwelling
Is
was
that-
on it.
Ma'am, is that dwelling still there today, or have you already?
Yes.
And you're wanting to move it and bring in a different?
Correct.
Okay.
It
Yes.
needs to be.
Okay.
Oh, we had a picture. Justin, is that this case?
And then, do you, ma'am, or staff, do y'all know the actual width of the? I've got it here, but I can't hardly read it. What's the width of the?
The existing or the proposed?
No, the actual property. What's the width of the actual property? It looks to be a very narrow property, and I can't actually read it on my map.
It's
Fine
about
print.
110 feet wide.
It's 110 feet wide.
Yeah, it's
Off the table on the survey.
It's 104 feet at the road frontage and 109 and a half at the rear.
And they've already received a variance for the width as well.
Okay, I was a little concerned about it, yeah.
She
Okay.
received that the last time she was here.
Okay.
Other questions?
She received the width there.
If the board has no other questions for the applicant, what about anybody else wish to speak to this case, Commissioner?
Haskell Evans, 5925 Franklin Road and 5861 Franklin Road. I own the properties on both sides of Miss Lisa here. I apologize to the board. I should have caught this back in July, but I didn't. When we first spoke about her replacing the mobile home, then she told me that it was going to be bigger. And I sat through the meeting and heard apparently footprint 3 times and didn't catch it. I was thinking, she's going to replace it. So she and I both thought that July was good. She had, whatever we did then, the variances were going to allow her to do what she needed to.
You believe this to be a whole lot of record because you've been out there forever?
It was cut off of the 5861 tract. I don't know when. I know the mobile home has been there.
It looks like it's been there quite some time.
It's been there at least since the late 90s. I know that the 5861 tract was cut off of the original part of the farm probably in at least the 80s. But again, I don't know for sure what year.
So,
But like I'd stated in July, there is a ravine to the west. There's not much of anything can be done with that part anyway, other than run goats or something in it maybe. As it is right now, it's not even fenced. Don't have any intentions of fencing it, and I don't have a problem with her encroaching on the property line if y'all don't. As far as if there was any need to get emergency vehicles through there, they're not going to go through that on that side anyway. It would either come down her property line or they'd come across my property to get to it. So
But there's really nothing behind it to
There's TVA power line.
Really nothing back there, or the home, or some kind of something that would necessitate an emergency vehicle likely having to access it.
Not that I know of.
Perry, do you have something else?
I don't know, I'm maybe, but I don't want to muddy the water anymore, but,
Well, then don't.
well, but I need to understand something that I don't understand. So if it was created after our current zoning ordinance, I'm saying if, I don't know if it was or was not the lot, how did it created when it was so narrow, when it didn't meet current zoning? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, I mean, we have lots all over the county that people have cut out by deed and sold.
Just never went through the proper
And
channel?
that is correct, and they've never went through the proper channels. Some of those in those instances would have had a pre-existing home on, and they'd get cut out, so they never got a building permit pulled. If you cut it out by deed, it doesn't get reviewed by our office, it doesn't get caught. They'll draw it up, and if there's no mortgage involved, there's not as detailed of a title search involved on those
So what has
properties.
happened here is, at some point, and y'all haven't researched the title chain.
No,
At
sir.
some point, it was cut off by deed. And then later, they came back, and when they wanted this effort here to take place, y'all required a plat.
To bring it into code, yes, sir.
And they got a variance, and they recorded that plat recently.
Yeah, in August of this year.
Any other questions from the board? And anyone else wish to address this case? If not, I'll close the public hearing and turn to the board. Do we need to have any further discussion, or do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion, even though the variance is, in my opinion, quite excessive, I'm going to make a motion, we approve it based on the hardship on the fact of width of this lot. And I'll leave it at that.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? I'm going to, I don't want to muddy anything either, but I am going to say something.
Jump right in there.
That would be a legitimate hardship if the chain of title dates back prior to July of 72,
Yes,
or to.
74, June, yeah,
Other
July
night,
of 74.
the commission was 76, but
Yeah, well,
it was 74, right?
it's, June of 74 is when zoning wasn't,
And then that would be a legitimate hardship. Now it's just, we're just cleaning up a mess.
Well, and I haven't heard the testimony, but did the lady before us, did she create the hardship? Or did she buy into it, or is that even relative?
It's not relevant.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what she did, but it's,
She said she bought into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not,
I feel like she didn't create the hardship.
Already that
that's,
way.
and I know we talk about that from time to time, but it's not a relevant hardship.
Okay.
Although it's, practically it is. Okay.
No public comment is over, but
It is. All right. Okay.
before you, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Before you all vote, you all made a motion to approve. There was not an amended variance in that. The staff recommendations do not line up with the agenda, so if you approve it,
Let's get a motion to approve, if you want to, based on the 10-foot variance.
Let me clean that up, yeah. Do I need to, I will amend my original motion.
Make a new one.
Just make a new one. Okay, I'll make a new motion that we approve this case based on the fact that because of the extreme narrowness of the lot, and that motion will be for a 10-foot west yard setback. Is that correct?
an additional 10-foot.
An additional 10-foot to what was granted in July.
Yes, sir.
But it's
Additional 10-foot.
It's a 10-foot west.
An additional 10 yards. It's already got a 5, and so we're getting an additional 10,
Which would make it what from,
5 feet, you
Okay,
can
thank
make
you.
5 feet.
which would make it 5 feet.
So we're amending, we're granting a variance from what was already given. And you're saying she's going to be 5 foot from the property line?
Yes.
Yes, and I can tell you when the lot was created. I looked up the staff recs from July, and the lot was created in, oh, I just had it, hold on, December of 92.
Okay. So it is not, we're just, and we have done this, but we're not dealing with a whole lot of record.
Grandfathered in.
We're just dealing with a mess. Okay. Okay, so we're okay with 5 foot off the property line?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Howard, do you second the motion that Perry made again? He cleaned
Whatever
it.
he said, I second.
Okay. Well, it is for a 10-foot west side yard setback relief, okay?
I got it.
All right, we have a motion, we got a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no, and the ayes have it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Our next case is case 4349, Billy Jones, trustee, requesting a variance from the paving requirement. The property is located at 6060 Highway 109 North, Lot 2. Jones property is a portion of parcel 46 on tax map 33. It consists of 26.03 acres, zones C3 commercial. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4349.
Applicant is requesting a variance from the paving requirement. Paving is required to meet commercial standards, and this is a C3 zone property. Therefore, given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval. In expansion of the commercial or industrial site, all commercial standards are to be met unless a variance for those requirements are granted by this board. If this request is granted, staff recommends that the board allow the planning office to require increased screening along the public right-of-way to be utilized as a visual barrier, as this is a large parking lot. The expansion of this site will require a site plan to be approved by the Wilson County Planning Commission.
Okay, who's here to represent 4349 Billy Jones, trustee? Yes, sir.
Billy Jones, 6048 Highway 109.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
Well, when I first started this, I got with the stormwater to approve it. And I talked to Michael Griffin. He come out and looked at the whole property and said that they did not want it paved because of the water runoff. That,
Told you that?
Michael Griffin, stormwater.
Okay.
And he said it would be better to put millings on it. And the property is not really a parking lot, it's a storage area. The people that's sitting in there, some of the trailers been sitting there for 6 months and never been moved. Most of them sits there. Dreamliner represents a lot of the CMA people, and their trailers come in there and sit for 3 months and then go out and sit on the road for 3 months. That's the kind of people I want in there. I don't want nobody coming in and out daily basis. I want at least a month before they can come in my property. So it's really not a parking lot, it's a storage area. And an acre or so of it is set aside for milling storage. It's set up about 15 foot tall. The millings is on the property.
Board have any questions for the applicant? Christopher, let me ask you something. In the zoning ordinance, we have a whole list of in the parking section, whole list of required parking spaces. How many parking spaces go with a warehouse? How many parking spaces go with an office building?
Yes,
So on. They're all, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them in there.
at least, yes, sir.
What do you classify this use as? I mean, what are we giving a variance from? I know it's paving.
It'd be the paving requirement, and what
What are you going to require them to pave? What use are you looking at?
I'm just interpreting it as a parking lot, which in the ordinance, that what I'm leaning on is the paving requirements that all parking and drive aisles are to be paved. That would be the variance that you're giving.
But how much? Because what scope are you looking at? I mean, are you using the warehouse scope?
Well,
or
no.
truck stop scope or?
Parking lot is parking lot is a use allowed in C3, like without any sort of business on it. You can just have a
So you're saying
parking lot. That's what I'm
whatever he
interpreting this as.
uses needs to be paved?
Yes, sir. Which would be, now the business to the south, which is BJ Trailers, that one's grandfathered in, so that's not a question. But like if that were to come today, where he stores his trailers and the parts for the trailers, that storage area would not particularly need to be paved, but like his drive aisles and his customer parking and employee parking in a site plan, if that were to come today, that's what we would want paved. And that's similar to this site. Now, if it's a contractor storage yard, that's a different use, which would need a
Different animal.
it would need a use variance as well, but right now I'm interpreting it as a parking lot, which is allowed in C3, and all parking and drive aisle spaces are
So,
to be paved.
what you're saying, if you're going to use an acre for storage parking, or for parking, then you've got to leave that acre.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Board have any other questions for the applicant?
question.
Go ahead.
This is approximately 26 acres. How much of the property is the county saying needs to be paved? How much of the 26 acres?
It would just be what he's utilizing for the parking lot. So right now it would be everything that's currently under millings, and we would require a site plan to go for planning for that to,
Should,
I can,
coordinate with that.
I'll ask the applicant, how much space?
We're utilizing about 4 acres now.
4 acres, okay.
Mr. Neal?
should we as a board not have just what Mr. Howard just asked there? I mean, I don't have a site plan. For all I know, he's wanting to pave the whole 26 acres or use the whole 26 acres and not pave any of it. I don't have anything, do we, other than just what he said a minute ago about 4 acres?
Well, the variance request is for the paving requirement blanket.
I understand that, right. So he starts using the whole 26 acres and he doesn't have to pave any of it? Would that not be correct?
Well,
This variance without amending it.
Okay.
The 26 acres, it's got a lot of it can't do any because of the water.
also, this is one of the few split zone tracks in the county. So like the parking lot that he currently has on there where the millings are, they're all within the C3 zoned portion of this particular property. The entire 26 acres is not zoned C3.
I would have just appreciated a picture drawn on my map somewhere or another of what's what.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that would have been part of the site plan approval, which I mean, I would recommend that he go through this if we proceed forward, but that's not been done of yet.
So,
So what part of that's in parking and what part's not? It's not on there.
That's the problem.
Um,
I don't know.
All right, I'm through.
If there's no other questions for the applicant, does anyone else here wish to address 4349 Jones?
I do.
Come forward, please, ma'am. If you'd step back, sir, we'll let this lady speak.
Hi, my name is Reagan Fuquay Sar. I live at 1225 Northern Road, where,
Hold on just a minute, ma'am. Mr. Jones, if you'd step back just a little bit, I'd appreciate it.
do you need me to drop it? Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous here. I've never done this
Take your
before. My name is Reagan Fuquay Sar. I live at 1225 Northern Road, where Northern Road basically dead ends. I have lived here for 4.5 years. I am a stay-at-home mom right now. I am collegiately a landscape designer and have a minor in construction management. And I'm not actively working right now. I have also had a landscape company in Denver and used to do properties on Stapleton, which is the old airport. And I actually have experienced heavy metal poisoning from doing landscaping for 2 years and had to do a year-long cleanse after working on the old airport sites from having my company. I'm fast forwarding to the breakdown of what asphalt millings are. I'm not really concerned about the parking lot being there. What I'm truly concerned about is the toxic runoff from the millings without them being hardened, what they're dropping into Old Hickory Lake. So when the milling started to drop, which was, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I started watching it, and it slowly started moving over to the north, and it crossed over a drainage creek that goes directly back to Spence Creek, and they put absolutely no piping underneath of it with PEX anything in order to run the stormwater drainage that's coming off of 109 that needs to be carried to Old Hickory Lake. So now you've got the milling sitting down, and all of the stormwater drainage is picking up all the microplastics. It is specifically bitumen, which is it is what is used to actually bind asphalt together, and it is a byproduct. It's a poly, material. It's aesthetic polypropylene to be exact. It takes 30 years to break down, and it releases cadmium, thallium, zinc, and there are 2 other heavy metals. I'd have to pull up the article. It takes 30 years to break down. I'm 50 years old. That's probably the amount of time I have to live here on the farm that I bought at the end of Northern Road. And it goes directly into Old Hickory Lake where people are fishing and swimming. And this material is not allowed in landfills in the state of Tennessee. It is that toxic. I care about the environment. I care about our water being clean and the fact that, first of all, being a new resident and trying to open my own business here, tourism in the lake is a huge factor of this, to be quite honest. So without them being hardened, they are going to continue to be leached into the water. The fact that they were not hardened as the layers were going down, once you harden the top of them, the storm water is still going underneath of it and leaching all of the material into the water no matter what. The only way I'm guessing that you could rectify that at this point would be to bore underneath of it and actually put drainage in that connects to Spence Creek to try to keep these materials from being leached into the water. I'm really not trying to hurt a man's business or anything here at all. I want to be an agreeable community member, but this one has been making me sick since the day it started being laid down because there's been no preparation for the leaching of this material. It is not allowed in a landfill. So I just hope that you guys could take that into factor in what is being laid down in the future. It's pretty vast. There is a lot more of that drainage creek behind where they have already, God, I'm so nervous. They haven't laid down, so if they do continue to push back, that drainage creek continues to be covered. And it's still going to collect all that material, and it's going to be running underground into Old Hickory Lake anyway. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. If there's no one else, we'll close public hearing in regard to 4349, and we will ask the board for any discussion or a motion.
We got a question.
Sure.
Before us today, it looks like to me, we're only going to decide whether, according to Chris, the driveway in and out and the parking area for vehicles, what we're looking at would have to be paved or not. Is that correct? Not where actually the trailers are sitting.
Well, where the trailers are sitting would be considered a parking spot. It's all
Considered the parking spot.
It's all drive aisles and parking.
Where he's got the millings now, that's,
I mean, if he wanted to utilize it as a contractor storage yard where we frequently giving relief in the parking standards, and I can I followed up with Stormwater Department to keep that a dustless surface. That's a different request as a use variance. As far as parking lot, which is allowed on C3, if he's going to utilize that as a full-fledged parking lot, the entire space for what is being used as a parking lot would need to be paved. Yes, sir.
I think what he said was 4 acres is what he said.
That would need a site plan, and that would need to be paved. There'd also be increased stormwater requirements for detention on that, because at that point it's an impervious surface. I have talked with stormwater on this, and they are.
Regardless of what happens here. Up or down. Irregardless of what happens here, he's still going to have to go to Planning Commission with a site plan, is he not?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going irregardless with a site plan to the Planning Commission. The question here is, does that site plan include a paving requirement that is currently in the ordinance? So he's still got to go for a site plan. It's just, okay, what he's saying is, do I have to pave it or not? Oh, all right. So no one else wishes to speak. We've closed the public hearing. Any other comments by the board? Questions? We ready for a motion?
Can I ask a question?
Surely.
Are we talking about him having to pave the entire 4 acres that's coming off the 109 going on to the access of his property?
Y'all might have been distracted when we clarified. He's got to go to the Planning Commission with a site plan. That site plan is going to show where all this stuff exists, where the parking is going to be, where the drive lanes are going to be, where the buffers are going to be, where everything is going to exist. The question in front of this board, he has made an application to waive the paving requirement. So that site plan's either going to show paving under the parking spaces and the drive aisles, or it's going to show something else, gravel or whatever, millings. And that's the question in front of the board. He's made the application to waive the paving requirement.
What we were discussing over here was, how do you access this property? Nobody's told me if it's going to be accessed off Northern Road or Highway 109.
There are 2 access points.
Well, we got that covered up,
Yeah.
but publicly that had not been
Access off
covered.
109.
I
Yeah,
feel like there's a lot of information lacking on what I have.
and those accesses at present are paved. They got paved probably 3 weeks ago. The access is off of 109, just the access, not the entire parking lot.
Currently, it's coming off of 109.
Right.
But the site plan would have to
Right.
show such.
Okay.
And his request would include his access, ingress, egress. He's requesting it not be paved as well.
It's already paved.
That might be useful information for us to know. I don't have that anywhere. Do you, Mr. Chairman?
I got what was submitted.
Okay.
Now, we
I'm done.
have asked in the past that all these variances come with a plat, but this is what we got. You hear a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion that we deny this due to staff recommendation.
Okay, have a motion to deny 4349 based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you for coming, sir. Okay. Our next case, Linda McGuire, case 4350, requesting a variance of 16 feet from the east front yard setback requirement of 60 feet from Highway 109 North for an existing accessory structure that is 44 feet from the east front property line, and a variance of 16 feet from the west rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet for the existing house that is 24 feet from the west rear property line. The variance will allow the applicant to build a back deck that will meet all setback requirements. The property is located at 101 Apple Valley Road, a portion of Lot 49, Driftwood Acres, Parcel 69, Group A, on Wilson County Tax Map 10M, consisting of approximately 37,000 square feet, zoned A1 agricultural. Staff recommendations now on 4350.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 16 feet from the east front yard setback requirement of 60 feet from the Highway 109 North for an accessory structure, and the variance of 16 feet from the west rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet for the existing home. The proposed deck will meet all setback requirements. This is not an older lot of record, with the lot being created in January of 1979. Staff can recommend approval of the front yard setback, as this is a corner lot with 2 fronts, one being on Highway 109 North and the second being on Apple Valley Road, as well as the encroachment. Due to the encroachment of this front yard setback because of the widening of 109 North. When the home was originally built, there was not a front yard setback issue. When Highway 109 North was expanded, that created the front yard setback violation. Staff can recommend approval of the rear yard setback, as this is for an existing home that was built in 1994 that was permitted.
Say that last sentence again.
The original home has a permit, and it was permitted in 1994 for the location that it was. So that's why staff can recommend approval of the rear yard setback to the south, to the west rear yard setback.
But you said the staff can recommend approval for the rear yard.
I can't, yes, due to our research in it, that it was a permitted house in 1994 and it was approved in that way.
Gotcha. All right. Who's here to represent 4350 McGuire?
And I can elaborate on that if you want me to before they get up. The reason for the rear yard, the plat from 1979 doesn't have any setbacks on that. So I'm assuming when it got permitted, that was interpreted as a side yard, and that would have met the side yard requirements. It meets them today.
Got you. Okay. That clears me up a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry for that.
Who's here to represent 4350? Name and address, please.
I am Linda McGuire, 101 Apple Valley Road, Lebanon, Tennessee. This is my husband, William Nosbish. He's my detail man.
Anything you'd like to tell the board?
No, we were unaware of any setbacks. And on the side between me and my neighbor, I did have my survey validated before we put the fence, and that is exactly where it is right now, which is really 16 feet away from your setback line. So I thought the setback would go to the survey line. So I built on the survey line for the fence. We were unaware of us being too close to the neighbor and the regulations before when the house was built. We assume the contractor had approval for all that.
We do have an existing deck, but it's
It needs replacement.
in really bad shape. It's rotting and it's really terrible looking.
Does the board have any questions for the applicants?
One quick question for staff. Does the new proposed deck, does it encroach?
It does not encroach.
Okay, I thought that was so. I wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4350 McGuire? Okay, we'll close public comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And turn to the board for a motion on 4350. And based on staff recommendations, I'll move we approve 4350. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Hold a second. Who seconded it? Who said second?
Pick one.
Manning second.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, discussion? No discussion. All in favor of the motion as stated, vote aye. Aye. Opposition, vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. Our next case, case 4351. S&S Design Build on behalf of Abby and Derek Sibley requesting a variance of 3 foot from the east side yard setback requirement of 15 foot for the existing house that is 12 feet from the east side property line, and a variance of 4 feet from the west side yard setback requirement of 10 feet for an existing accessory structure that is 6 feet from the west side property line. The variance will allow the applicant to build a proposed patio cover that will meet the setbacks. The property is located at 1012 Bending Chestnut Drive, Lot 107, Chestnut Glen, Parcel 26, Group B on Wilson County Tax Map 13L. Lot consists of 1.07 acres, zoned R1 residential. Let's get staff recommendations now on 4351.
Applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 15 feet for the existing house, and a variance of 4 feet from the west side yard setback of 10 feet for an existing accessory structure. The proposed patio cover will meet all required setbacks. This is not an older lot of record, with the lot being created in February of 2004. Staff cannot recommend approval of the side yard setbacks. Staff did speak with the building inspector. The home does have a permit. We are unable to find when the accessory structure was built, as we cannot locate a permit on that structure.
So house was permitted, accessories question.
Correct.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4351? Sibley. I'll get it right in a minute.
Valerie Moda for 1012 Bending Chestnut Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee.
And this is your house?
No, we're the contractor.
Oh, you're the contractor, okay. So you're S&S Design Build?
Correct.
Okay, good deal. And what would you like to tell the board?
That pretty much covers it.
Does the board have questions for the applicant? And Do we have any, these are two setbacks for the house, correct?
No, one setback for the
One's
home.
for the house, one's for the.
One for the accessory structure. Both, one is the house has one side yard and the accessory structure has
Okay,
the
I
other.
remember that from when I reviewed this.
Yep.
Gotcha, okay. Now,
So that,
question,
what did you say? I missed what you just said.
there's two structures out there, the
I
house and the accessory.
Right.
One of these requests is for a setback on the side yards for the house. The other is a request for the setback on the accessory structure.
I got you.
So the accessory structure has no permit they can locate. The house does have a permit that was pulled. My question is, how did the house get built needing a setback if it had a permit?
Not gonna be,
And I don't know.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to answer that. I mean, I'm assuming I'm speculating at this point, but it would be the plot plan that was pulled was probably showed the house 15 feet off, and then when it was built in 2004, 2005, contractor didn't build it in that exact location, and then it was finalized and went forth to be occupied.
But actually what they're wanting to do is make the lot legal.
Yes,
So that
sir.
they can get a permit for a patio cover.
Yes, sir.
Patio cover doesn't need anything.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
It's the patio cover. Okay. I think I understand now. Does the board have any questions for the applicant?
What would be the, I don't know specifics, the existing accessory structure, could it be moved? Is it
I think it's a garage.
Very permanent garage.
a very permanent garage? Okay.
Yep.
I think that's it right there. On the last sheet of the thing.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
It's a brick.
Brick.
There you go.
And we do not know whether or not it ever received a building permit.
I can't find one on it.
Okay. So does the board have any questions for the applicant? And if not, does anyone else here wish to speak to 4351 S&S Design? And if not, we'll close public comment and turn to the board in regard to case 4351. Do we need to have more discussion, or do I hear a motion? Well, I don't like to give variances that the staff doesn't recommend approval for. But these variances are on two structures that have been there and are permanently built. And it's so that people can build so they can make it legal and they can build a patio cover.
What they're wanting to do does not encroach.
What they're wanting to do doesn't need
Encroach
action by
any
this
further.
board. Matter of fact, I'm surprised somebody comes up here for a permit for a patio cover.
And one of these structures wasn't permitted?
The house was. Then it got built in the wrong place,
The accessory was?
but the accessory wasn't. And yes, you're supposed to get a permit for a patio cover. I just don't think it happens all that often. So, what say ye, board?
I think in order to clean the language up with this lot, that we make a motion to approve the setbacks on the detached garage and the house.
I have a motion to approve the request. Do I have a second?
I will grudgingly second that.
Any discussion? All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Our next case is 4352. Philip Bramlage requesting a variance of 7 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. If the variance is approved, the proposed accessory structure will be 29 feet in height. The property is located at 597 Walnut Grove Road, Lot 2D. Duke Ray is parcel 41.05 on Wilson County Tax Map 92. It consists of 10.68 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations now on 4352.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 7 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval. Staff will point out that the proposed shop building will be approximately 550 feet from Walnut Grove Road, and the only reason I give you that is because in most recent past, we've been utilizing how far these are off the roadway, right, wrong, or indifferent.
It's wrong. It's not relevant.
Okay.
Okay, who's here to represent 4352? Bramlage. I think I got that right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My name is Philip Bramlage, 597 Walnut Grove Road. I'm not going to get into the back history, as you all know, on these buildings, especially the 30-foot variance and the 20-foot off the setback. But we know that last Thursday, Mr. Neal was in the zoning committee. I believe there's a lot of little committees I find out throughout this that. So you guys are very familiar with this process. So for clarity, the 29-foot is calculated based because I have a six-inch finished grade, which the ordinance says. I know there's been some questions about where does this calculation begin, but the ordinance is clear that it starts at average finished grade, so it's going to be slab on grade. It's not a walkout basement. It's not a step footer. So we got 6 inches below the grade. We have a 16-foot ceiling, a 612 truss, which gets us approximately to 29 feet. The building is at least 20 foot off the setback, as shown in the plat. It's hidden behind a tree line. As Mr. Lawless said, it's anywhere from where you measure on the curve of Walnut Grove, it's 550 feet plus. We're zoned A1 Ag, as noted, over 10 acres. The reason for the 16-foot ceiling, so we need a large overhead door to store a travel trailer. I know there's been jokes on the committee before about, the 13-foot 9 overpass, underpass. So this 30-foot has been brought up several times. I believe that the board realizes that there's a need for this. Storage of other things too, such as tractor implements, gator, log splitter, cargo trailer. We have a lot of trailers for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we do. And also to build a baseball hitting net for my son. That requires, that net has to be 12 feet off the floor. And then you need 2 feet so that the balls aren't hitting the ceiling. So that's the reason for the 16-foot ceiling. The reason for the 612 trusses would be both aesthetics and function. It more closely matches the roof of the home, which is roughly 1012. And I know there's stuff in there about, matching, but we'd be at 36 feet, obviously, which is taller than the house, and that's taller than homes are allowed as well. We want to avoid that warehouse look as it can be seen as you come down the drive, but it can't really be seen from the road. It matches the existing accessory structure that we have, and it more closely matches neighbors' accessory structures in the quote neighborhood, although all of our tracks are rather large around there. As far as function of the 612 slope, helps water drainage from the roof, helps shed leaves and debris, noting that we're close to a tree line there, as you can see in that picture. Allow for better airflow in the attic, reduces ice and snow retention issues, and it allows for improved insulation. Those are the reasons that I come before you today. Thank you.
You're 230 foot from the home, right?
Yes, roughly, yes, sir.
Why is the roof pitch at that distance? Why is that relevant?
Because I'm just saying that I know you could go to 26 foot if you match the pitch roof and you match the brick, but so what I'm saying is,
excuse you, I think you can go to a full 35 foot if you match the pitch and the siding. Would that be Christopher? I thought you could go to the same as the residence.
That is correct, yes, sir.
But
it would be cost prohibitive though, based on the size of the shop.
And what is the size? We don't see the size.
It should be on there, yes, sir. 48 by 80.
Right here.
That's this one. I thought we were talking about this one.
Yeah, the size is
the ones I've got the dimensions from.
This is the house.
It's this one here. Yeah, actually it'd be roughly the same from the house, maybe a 270. But yeah, it's that one on the front.
Yeah, show us, we may be confused as to which.
I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, we've got this going.
Okay, so here is,
That's the proposed.
This is actually it.
Yes, that's existing.
Okay. Okay. I liked it a little better when it was back here.
okay. I can't read these dimensions. They're so small on this sheet. So what are the dimensions?
48 by 80.
48 by 80. And since he has a principal structure, Chris, he's
We don't have any stipulation on the size.
on the side. He can be
As large as he likes, yes.
he can be 50,000 feet. It's okay.
There is a coverage rule for the amount of land, but with the acreage that he has, yes, he probably could get to that.
50,000 feet.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I just think that's a hole in the ordinance.
It probably is.
Be
There's
some limiting. This is what we say it was A1 or R1.
This is A1, and if that's the only hole you found in the ordinance, I'm thankful.
You're being facetious, aren't you?
I am.
I just wanted to clarify. Okay. All right. So, the board have any more questions for that?
I'm pretty sure I got this, but you're 20 foot from the side.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
I had that correct.
And Chris, y'all are recommending denial because it's
I cannot recommend approval. Our max height for accessory structures, regardless of the size, is 22 feet at present.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Does the board have any final questions for the applicant? And if not, do we have anyone else here who wishes to address 4352? And if not, we'll close public hearing. Thank you, sir. And turn to the board. You want more discussion, or are you ready for a motion?
I'll throw something out for discussion. Obviously, he's got a larger lot at 10 acres. He's a long ways off the road. My concern is he's 20 foot from the side yard setback. I mean, he's 20 foot from the side yard. But anyway, that would be a concern I might would have over this one.
My concern is he's
7 foot over the height variance.
but over what we, and there's no
I understand.
basis for the well, you know how I feel about such
I
things.
understand. We've had this discussion.
So, yes, sir, go right ahead.
If there's no more discussion, I'm going to make a motion that we deny based on staff recommendation.
I have a motion to deny based on staff recommendations. Does he have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay, our next case is case 4353. Kyle Elliott is requesting a warehouse storage use. The use will be for parking SUV and Sprinter vans and storing limousines. Applicant is also requesting a variance of 8,000 square feet from the size requirement of 2,000 square feet for an accessory structure without a principal structure. If the variance is approved, the accessory structure will be 10,000 square feet and must meet the setback requirement for a principal structure. The property is located at 3890 East Division Street, parcel 83 on Wilson County Tax Map 71. It consists of 1.29 acres and is zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4353.
Applicant is requesting a warehouse/storage use for parking vehicles, as well as a variance of 8,000 square feet from the size requirement of 2,000 square feet for an accessory structure without a principal structure on site. If the variance is approved, the accessory structure will be 10,000 square feet and must meet the setback requirements for a principal structure. Per the applicant's business plan, they have committed to indoor storage only, no on-site employees, and no public storefront. Warehouse/storage uses are not a permitted use nor a listed use on appeal in the R1 zone districts. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the use variance nor the size variance for an accessory structure. If the board chooses to approve this request, staff recommends that the applicant be required to comply with all commercial requirements and complete a formal site plan submittal for review before a permit is pulled.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4353 Kyle Elliott? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Kyle Elliott, 3890 East Division Street.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
So just for point of clarification here, there is currently nothing on this property, and I'm actually intending on selling this property to a gentleman who plans to build this. However, he wants to have approval that he can do such thing before he purchases the property. I purchased this property back in September of 23 with the intent to build a home of my own. That was brought to my attention that that was not an ideal place based off the perking information from the seller and based off the zoning board's or the zoning chairman's information. I would like to say that this was a vacant lot for about 30 plus years as far as my knowledge. It was sold by a family whose father who had previously owned the property, so the estate had passed away and has been pretty much a dumping ground up until the point which was purchased. Once I purchased it, I removed all the trash and debris, cleared out the tree area in hopes to build some form of building or at least sell the property to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. But currently we do have a potential buyer here who would like to put a garage of sorts to store their vehicles, which would be, I guess, a transportation company for things like limousines. I understand that this is not a commercial lot, but based off of where the property is located and other additional businesses within the area, it seems like it would be a beneficial thing for the county, for the city of Mount Juliet. Obviously, bringing in a business, building a structure would increase things like property taxes for this. Currently, it's only about $500, but adding value to the property and to this area, I think, is a positive thing for the county. So for me, obviously, this is a benefit because I'm looking to sell this property since I can't do what I want with it, but for another potential business to operate within this confines. And again, it is not a business where there will be people coming and going. It is just a storage facility for a business that would be operating elsewhere. So basically, you would just have vehicles coming and going from this lot that I guess the drivers from the limousine service would be showing up, picking up the limousines and taking them where they would need to go. So it would be, I would hope that you guys would understand that and that this is, not me trying to degrade the property or the county in any way, but to help it as someone who has lived in Wilson County for the majority of my life. I think this would be a benefit to the county as well.
Okay. You realize this is R1, it's not an allowed use?
I do understand that, yes.
All right. The board have questions for the applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address for 4353 Elliott?
And I'm sorry, Missy Pyle.
You don't mind, I'll do the chair. So step back a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
No, and as far as the
Okay, name and address.
I'm so sorry, Missy Pyle, 2656 Benders Ferry Road, Mount Juliet.
Now go right ahead.
Okay. I see a lot of positive in being able to approve this warehouse zoning. I'm not sure if that's even the correct terminology. But it's, again, the way that it sits now, the gentleman that wishes to purchase the property will literally pave it and abide by all the restrictions and the limitations set with those type of boundaries. And it would truly not be anywhere where someone comes in or goes. It won't be customers coming in and going. It's just going to be for the drivers.
And where do you live in regard to this particular parcel?
Where do I live in regards to this property? 5 miles.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wish to address 4353? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, please.
Name is Lucy Diders. I own the property straight across the street. I got 2.5 acres. I feel this is commercial and this is a residential area, and I don't think also a very dangerous intersection. We've had so many accidents because of the way it's shaped, and I'm hoping down the line as Mount Juliet grows that they will straighten up that area somehow. Right now, our blessing is that they got Beckwith closed off, but the traffic is just, I've had my fence taken out just time after time after time. And we have 2.5 acres. I just think that's commercial. It needs to be residential.
Thank you, ma'am.
And like I said, I hope we can get that down the line, that how crazy everything comes together with having Amazon, and that is the shortcut to get to Quarry.
That's right there at the main intersection with the church and.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I actually own that, it's an original log home, and it's solid logs in there, and they actually sold off to the church back in the olds to get back with what I understand. But I'm 100% with the traffic and where it's located. I'd rather have it the residential.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else? 4353, Elliott. Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I address the comments?
Shortly, please.
Yes. I've done some research based off this property and what this purchaser intends to do. Within about a 0.2 distance on Beckwith Road, the part that is currently closed, there is a gravel lot, which I'm not aware is a commercial lot. I have the address here that I'd be happy to give you as well. They have tractor trailers parked there. It's a large gravel lot with a large garage. And within less than a mile of the property, also on East Division, there's also a trucking company, JIT X, I believe is the name of the company, that also is operating large vehicles, larger than limousines, onto that road of Division Street within that same general area. So while I do understand those concerns, I think that it is, already a precedent has already been set in this.
What would be the zoning on those properties you just mentioned?
From my understanding, the one that is about a mile from there is a commercial lot. However, the one on Beckwith is, to my knowledge, is not.
We're considering this lot.
Of course, I understand.
I don't know that the status of other lots that we don't even really know how they exist or what their history is relevant. I know it's not relevant. So we'll just move on with the evidence we've had presented here.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. If no one else wishes to address 4353, we'll close public hearing and turn to the board. Do I hear a motion in regard to this case?
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we deny case 4353 based on staff recommendation, and it's a use that's really not permitted or not permitted on the use on appeal.
Okay. I have a motion to deny 4353 based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no.
No.
And they have one no, right? Okay. So 4 in favor of denial, 1 opposed. The application is denied. Our next case is case 4354. Dana Chapman, on behalf of Janice Huddleston and Connie Jordan, requesting a renewal to use the property for Haunted Woods. The property was approved by the board August 20, 2020 for 5 years through the end of 2025. The board approved the renewal request on October 16th for a period of 1 year due to the approval use being expired. The property is located at 7040 Murfreesboro Road, parcel 31 on Wilson County Tax Map 136, consists of 38.14 acres, zoned A1 agricultural, with staff recommendations on 4354.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a renewal to use the property for the Haunted Woods. The board approved the renewal request October 16, 2025 for 1 year due to the approved use being expired. Upon further review with the applicant, it was determined that the 5-year use variance granted in 2020 had not expired at the time of the October 16th meeting, meaning the applicant would have qualified for an extended approval period if the board wished to approve that. With last month's testimony, there is no change to the business plan nor the operating hours to staff's knowledge. There was originally question about larger event venue stuff, but that request has been removed, so it's just the Deadlands that was previously approved. Staff can recommend approval of the extension to the use variance if the board sees that fit.
Okay, just so everybody's up to speed on what's happened here, we had this case last month, and we assumed or thought it had been expired since August, based on the testimony, the documents that were here. After the meeting was completed, after we approved it, we went back and put them back on a one-year approval because it was an expired use. After the fact, after the meeting was adjourned, the applicant and staff got together and discovered from the 2000 minutes, I guess, or 2021, whichever it was, that the approval was actually to the end of this year.
It was, yes, sir.
So it was not expired. It was still in force when they were here in October. So that now they have come back, and instead of the 1 year that we gave them because they were starting all over again, we thought, they've come back and said, okay, this was a mistake, and we would like our approval to be for a period of 5 years, which normally they would be entitled to. Okay? So that's where we are. So all that being said, y'all go ahead and give us your name and address and make any statements you'd like.
Dana Chapman, the property for 7040 Murfreesboro Road in Lebanon. So he pretty much summed it up, but I have a little speech here so I don't forget anything. I was not prepared, and I should have brought in the other ones to show that we have had approval from the beginning. Matter of fact, we always come in a year early to get approval. So I appreciate me being able to come back and ask for the additional 5 years as we've done in the past. Deadland has received approval since 2009, and since then, we have continued to operate with all the zoning requirements. Every season, we hire 93 staff members that help run the Haunted Woods, and those are people, students, social workers, and local residents from Wilson County. Our season runs mid-September through early November, like the 1st or 2nd of November, depends on how the calendar runs. Friday and Saturdays, we're open 7 to midnight. We asked last month that we could add Sundays and Thursdays, but being closed at 10:30 to help with making 2 days not so busy. Today, again, we are asking for 5-year approval because of the significant investment in time and labor that it takes to run this thing. That is why we normally come in and try to get enough time. 1 year is not enough to do all the plan. The planning takes a long time. Also, Deadland operates for a very short season, like 14 days. But it takes all year to get it ready. So...
Deadland and the Haunted Woods, the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just call it Deadland instead of Deadland Haunted Woods. It is Deadland Haunted Woods. As always, we aim to be a positive presence in the community by hiring so many people, kids that get to come out and do it. So we're asking for your support in granting the 5-year extension and approving the additional operation days, which we already did last month.
Thank you.
That's it. Anything?
Board have any questions for the applicant?
I will bring up, I think, based on testimony given last month, that there may be new ownership, management, or whatever. I just want to bring that into I think that was brought up last month, so.
Yeah, and I was concerned with that too, and that's why I didn't sign up. But after speaking to the zoning board, apparently this goes with the property. This doesn't go with the owner, so it doesn't really matter who is running it.
Well, it doesn't matter, but it does matter.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Okay.
But he still is his plan is to keep everything the same, not only everything the same, but hiring the same people. So it'll give me a good transition to step away and him to be able to continue doing this. We actually did a small petition at Deadland asking the people in Wilson County who wanted this to continue. It was so overwhelming that I didn't even try to bring it in. It is a good thing for the community and a good thing for Wilson County. And if, you can always just look at the response that we have.
Mr. Neal's right. The approval goes with the land. Who owns it? Obviously, that would be of concern of the board and the community, but it's not anything we can consider. The title can change as it will. But as the title changes, the ordinance does not. So we all need to keep in mind, if we want to continue to be approved, then we've got to, things have to behave,
Yes.
Oh, good. Board have any other questions? Go ahead.
Soon will this change hands?
It's not set to change hands yet, but if it did, it would be before the
Season.
before next season. So our season's over. We're done. We're not doing anything until, we probably won't even start doing anything until June or July of next year. But I would like to wrap it up and be done by January 1st.
And I may be wrong or not, so you can clear this up. I don't know if you actually own the land or you lease the land, but you're selling the business.
Yeah.
The land may or may not be changing hands. Is that correct?
Right.
So if there was a problem, you understand, with the new operation, the new operator, they would not necessarily be the people, well, they would not be the people we'd call. The people we would call would be who's holding the title to the property.
Exactly.
Because the property holds the permit.
Connie does, yes.
Yeah, so if Connie Jordan has the title, Connie Jordan's going to be the one that gets the letter.
Yep.
All right, any other?
And in 17 years, we have never had any issues.
I've not known of any.
Right, that's correct. That's a good record.
Yeah. Any other questions from the board?
Do they need a commercial variance for the gravel parking area and the grass parking?
No, there's never been commercial standards applied to this property. I mean, I guess you could apply those now, but it's an agricultural zone tract. We don't enforce commercial standards unless specifically outlined by this board on commercial uses on agricultural properties.
Would you consider this a temporary operation?
Yes, this would fall under a temporary operation, yes, sir, due to it's not approved for the duration of the land in question. It always has to come back in for reapprovals. Anything under that nature is going to be considered temporary.
Gotcha, okay. Any other questions? And does anybody else wish to address 4354, the Haunted Woods? If not, then I'll close public comment on this case and turn to the board for a motion. And this would be for a 5-year approval.
I'd like to approve this. I'd like to talk about possibly not extending that to come back here for 5 years if they're going to change hands. Could it be that it has to come back in maybe 2 years?
They've got 1 year as we speak. They would like 5.
We gave them 1 year last month.
Now, the board can do anything they want as far as that duration is concerned. They have one. They found these minutes, and I think that is applicable. That we thought it had approved, so we in the past we've given them 5. We didn't give them 5 last month because we thought it had expired, as I explained, and we gave them 1. Now they found the minutes they'd like 5. There's no requirement that I'm aware of that we have to give them 5. It's just their request. It's what we've done in the past.
Okay.
Now, let me say this. The operator may change. They're telling us that the owner of the property is not changing. So, you make whatever motion you'd like to make.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve, but put a 1 year
They've already got a year.
to come back. They already got a year, put 2 years on it. I don't think we ought to go 5.
Okay, well, they've got a year, and you want to make a motion to give them 2 years. Okay. Have a motion to grant 4354 a special use permit as requested for a period of 2 years. Does she have a second? And motion dies for lack of a second. Now we're open for a motion on 4354.
I think any motion you make also needs to state an additional, because they already have a year, so anything you approve is going to be an addition to. I think you need to use the term additional in there.
I think a 4-year or absolutely just state is to whatever date in 2030. Would that be right? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, that would work too, yes.
Okay. So I'll move that we approve the request and that this approval be good until the end of November in the year 2030.
That works as well.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, have a second. Now, any discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. All right, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
Let's take a break.
I'm just looking at that very thing. Okay. We've been going for about an hour and a half. Board's going to take a 10-minute recess, and we will be back at the end of that time and try to finish up the rest of this agenda. Back in session now. And our next case will be case 4355, Joshua Williams, requesting a variance of 11 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 60 feet. The existing house is 49 feet from the property line. Applicant is also requesting a variance of 97 square feet in order to turn the existing house into a detached accessory dwelling. The existing structure is 697 square feet. The variance will allow the applicant to build a house. The property is located at 8184 Carthage Highway, parcel 34, on Wilson County Tax Map 41, consisting of 10.14 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. Get staff recommendations now on 4355.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 11 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 60 feet and a variance of 97 square feet, allowing the applicant to turn the existing house into a detached accessory dwelling unit. The variances will allow the applicant to build a new primary residence on the property. This is not an older lot of record, with the lot being created in February of 2021. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the front yard setback variance, nor the variance for the accessory dwelling unit. This would allow the accessory dwelling unit to be 697 square feet. Our current regulation is 600 square feet is the maximum square footage for that.
Okay, if this thing's so new, Chris, do you know how it got built and violated these setbacks?
I do not on this one, no, sir.
Okay. All right. Who's here to represent 4355, Joshua Williams?
My name's Josh Williams, 8184 Carthage Highway, and this is my wife, Christina. So we bought this property as a place for us to build our forever home with land. And when we bought it in 2020, we then decided we bought equipment, and so we decided we wanted to build a barn to store the equipment in. And while we were doing that, we thought, and that was before we're going to build a house in like 5 years type of mentality back in 2020. And so when we decided to build that barn, which most of that is barn, there's only one soffit that we decided to make it into an apartment, so that, our parents, when they get older, would be able to live on property with us and not have to be in a home or be away from us. And so its primary purpose was just as a place for them to stay. When we did the process for getting our permits and everything else, we came into the office requesting, guidance on what we needed to do, what were the rules to try to get the building permit for the barn and explain things. And then we got the permit approved. Somebody came out, and the reason why we're requesting the variance from the frontage is because the person who came out and did the inspection to sign off on the building permit thought that Carthage Highway was a county road instead of a state road or a U.S. highway. And so they thought it was under that ordinance instead of the U.S. highway. So that on that one. And then in terms of the square footage, when we received our permit to build the barn with the apartment in it,
they thought Carthage Highway was a county road.
That's what, when Karen and I were talking, we were trying to figure out why we would have gotten that approved and signed off on that permit back in 2022.
That would make a significant difference. The distance off of a primary county road would be 40 foot on the front yard setbacks. The distance from all state routes is 60.
But the road is hundreds of feet away down that corridor.
Yep.
You enforce the front setback all the way along that line?
We do, yes, sir. The front yard is considered the line parallel with the road regardless of how far off the road it is.
Even though the front line, in this case, could be several hundred feet from the road. It is several hundred feet, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We don't have anything in our ordinance that differentiates, like if you're already that distance off the right of way, that you are allowed to have more relaxed front yard setbacks, which I guess would probably default to the 30-foot requirement, but we don't have anything in our ordinance that regulates that.
Does it make any difference that, I mean, he's talking barn, he's talking apartment?
Well, accessory units, they always have to meet front yard setbacks so for that specific variance, no, it wouldn't matter the structure. Now, if it was off of a rear yard or a side yard, yes, it does matter.
Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. So we got our permit to build the barn, and we were, getting that built and the apartment part of it, and we have water and everything kind of running to it. And then we got a call saying that we should be paying $5,000 fee for it, occupancy fee, or we would be in trouble. So we just came down and I wrote a check for $5,000, and in that process they changed the permit to say it was a house, and we had no idea. And so we built the barn, we completed the barn. My wife called to say, hey, we need somebody to come out and do an inspection to make sure it's livable. I don't know what the term's called, and in the occupancy inspection. And when she called, they said, "Oh, you're in the green belt. You don't have to worry about that."
They just said they didn't need to come out.
They need to come out and inspect it. So it was really odd. And of course, we don't know anything, so we're just like, okay, that's weird that you're doing that. So now, fast forward to now, because that was back in 2023. We're ready to, start building our forever home on the land. And when we were trying to pull the permit, that's when our builder said, hey, we've got a problem. The permit that you have for the barn is listed as a house.
Hey, it was a house. You lived in it, didn't you?
It has a living space, yes. What we did not, because we came down, my wife was asking what are the processes, what are the rules and guidance, and was trying to understand what were the ordinances of the county so that we could make sure we're doing everything above board, because that's what we're trying. I
mean, you paid the adequate facilities tax that only applies to a dwelling.
Correct, but when they called her, they didn't explain anything. They just said, you need to come down and pay $5,000 occupancy tax, and then of course I'm working from home, so I just immediately come down and pay. They don't explain anything to me. They give me a receipt. They didn't say there was anything changing about it. So
you don't ask before you give somebody a $5,000.
Not if it's the county.
Well, and if they had told, if I had known that, or if we had known that it was 600 square feet, that's what we would have built it to. We are very honest people. That's why we're here above, in front of you guys. We were not told, and we did not know that, or we would have made it right at 600.
When because we were asking what were the rules and the guidance and everything else, and there was a lot of confusion at that time within the department. And so,
if I can, I don't know, maybe to help me, but it seems like, which is probably very unusual, they built an accessory dwelling unit first, and now they want to build a house. And the accessory dwelling unit was in a barn.
Well, you can't have an accessory dwelling unit without a primary residence.
I know, but that's what but that's what it's going to be. I know you can't have that, but when the smoke all clears, is that not going to be the situation?
I think that
approve the variance, then this will be their accessory dwelling unit where they can build a house. But I've had people come in that's wanted to build an accessory dwelling unit first, and I tell them that they can't build that because there's not a principal structure for it to be an accessory dwelling unit too.
Correct.
And so there's some people that say, well, if I want to build a house later, how can I make this work? And then I tell them that the accessory that this has to be, what their building's going to be considered a house, but if they don't go over the 600 square feet, that when they're ready to build their house, then the principal structure could be considered the accessory dwelling unit when they build the new house.
And in that scenario, if they pay the adequate facilities tax on the original 600, they do not pay it again?
No, they do not pay it again.
And so their mistake was going over by 97 foot on the building, or, yeah.
Yeah, and at the time that we, in 2022, when we came down to get a permit and ask questions and learn what we were permitted and not permitted, none of that was, shared, that you can't do an accessory dwelling unit without a primary residence, or that it has to be under 600 feet or any of that kind of stuff. And so we were relying on the department to help us make sure we were following rules. We didn't have
Well, they came out and they did all these inspections and nobody caught any of this.
No. And then at the end, nobody came out.
House. So.
It's like a barn dominium.
Yes, it was just considered a house.
It was a house. I mean,
That's not,
obviously.
no, that's not what,
Footage of the 600 feet wouldn't even come into play because it was considered a house. It was considered the principal structure.
the building permit just says it's a pole barn.
it's a what?
It says pole barn on it.
Barn dominium.
But I do believe they amended it and changed it once you came in and paid
Yeah.
$5,000.
Right.
So the original permit was for
Oh,
a pole barn, but then it was changed and permitted as a home. And the AFT was paid, and then it was built and occupied.
yes.
And now they want to swap.
They want to build a house and use this as an accessory dwelling unit.
And the situations they've got out there don't meet the size or the setback.
Correct.
The pole barn permit would also explain the issue on the front yard setback, because it's hard to get an answer from the state of how vague of what Greenbelt actually allows. If it was considered an agricultural structure, they are not subject to all of our zoning requirements. So you could put a barn used for agricultural purposes and probably win that suit right off the property line.
I understand, but it's only 10 acres. So as far as,
It could be a satellite farm would be the best of my knowledge at that point.
At the time you pulled the permit for the barn, was 15 acres?
Yeah, it was 15 acres total at the time.
It was 15 at the time.
And since then, we deeded 5 acres to my father-in-law, who's building in that little spot that's to the left on the plat.
so you might have been okay if you hadn't done that.
Yes,
Would not have cleaned up the.
Yeah, it wouldn't have cleaned up the accessory dwelling unit setback, because that still would have been enforced, because it's we would have tried our best to enforce that still. I don't want to get into like if somebody's claiming ag, what they can and can't do on their property, because I can't get a straight answer from any attorney general at the state.
Okay.
I got a question for the applicants. What would be would it be possible, let me rephrase it, would it be possible to, the excessive 97 square foot, I believe that's right, on you're going over, would it be possible to somehow or another section that off? I think in the past, is it heating and the part of the 600 feet that's actually lived in and heated and cooled, is that right?
Yeah, the definition is 600 square feet heated and cooled. Yes, sir.
Would that be, would there be a way to put a wall up or somehow or another? I mean, I know it doesn't sound practical, but.
Yeah, it's not practical. There, in the bedroom piece of it would be cut in half to try to make something like that happen. And then we would not have 2 exit points out of the apartment side, because we've got in the bedroom part, there's a door that goes out, and then there's a front door. We wanted to be able to have 2 points of exit should there be a fire or anything like that.
That's my concern.
And so we, to be able to get it under the 600 feet would require us to put a wall up that would cut that room in half.
I don't know, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to come up with a solution, I don't know but I thought we had one where somebody had a back porch, just took part of it, made a back porch. So one of your back door access, could you not come in and put up a wall or something and make a room to where it would not be heated and cool and it would be a back porch?
Yeah, but that would cut that room in half. That room,
Well, I mean, that-
instead of being and it's not big as it is. I mean, it's.
Right, okay.
You've owned the property for 5 years, you said?
Yes.
When are you looking to pull a permit?
Our intention was to start building the house in October, and then that's when we learned in September we had a problem when our builder told us, and so, it's going to be within the next, we hope that if we get this approved today, that we'll get our permit and he can start this month or next month building.
Okay. I can't work with that timetable, but.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions for the applicant? And does anyone else wish to address 4355? And if not, we'll close public comment and turn to the board.
Just in discussion, because obviously there's two issues here, or I understand it. The one about the front yard setback, obviously I have no problem with that considering they're several hundred feet away from Highway 70. I don't think that is an issue because they have a 50-foot right of way. It's a flag-shaped lot. There's a whole nother property between their front yard and Highway 70. So I can't imagine why we could not solve that one pretty easy through granting a variance.
The issue would be they don't have a hardship. All this looks like to me it was self-inflicted, everything. I mean, I understand that.
And I don't know I can't read any of this as far as the actual distance.
It's 49, or you guys want the distance?
How far are you off of Highway 70, what they're calling your front property line?
So we're 49 feet off of that. Yes. The blue line, 49 feet off the blue line, that's our property.
But how far is the blue line off Highway 70?
449 feet.
Right. It's way off.
Right, well, I'm not.
But, he mentioned several times that, he was told this or thought he was told that. It's up to the applicant. All this information's online. You can get hard copies of it. It's up to the applicant to to get the information and comply with it. It's not the responsibility of the staff to police everything. So if you look at it from that standpoint, which I think is the correct way to look at it, all of these issues have been executed by the applicant. They're yours. And they're not something that somebody has done to you.
I respectfully disagree because it wasn't like we specifically asked. It's not like we're asking them to police, hey, you're doing this and you can't do it. We asked.
And for instance, you decided to subdivide the property further, correct? I mean, you just said you cut this 5 acres off. It was part of the original tract.
Yeah, we bought all 3 acres, all 3 tracts with my father-in-law.
But it used to be 15, and then you made a further subdivision of property.
Okay.
And then you decided to permit a pole barn, but then came back later and decided it was going to be a house.
No, the county decided to do that.
Well, no. You decided it was going to have a bedroom in it, did you not?
Communicate. It wasn't we were trying to be sneaky, which is why we're
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you originally got a permit for a pole barn. And then you came back and said, we'll have to have a permit for a home.
We did not say that.
You didn't say that?
No.
You didn't build a house?
We didn't.
You either built a house or you didn't build a house. You either built a dwelling unit or you didn't build a dwelling unit. Is it a barn or is it a house?
In my mind, it's not a house. But according to the rules of what is out there, I guess, that we've said what we were going to do, and we were told this is what you got, and this is the permit we're giving you, and then it came back. And so, accessory dwelling unit, 600 feet. It's over the 600 feet by 97 feet.
But you built this. Okay, so it's got a bedroom, and it's got a closet and a bathroom and an office and so on and so forth. Okay.
Yes. I hear you.
Would it be easier to break this up into two separate motions? Or do we need to? I feel like there's two separate issues in front of us.
Well, that's, you can treat it that way. There's nothing to say you can't do that.
Okay, well, I will.
Hold on just a minute. I've already called for everybody. I just want to make sure I'm at the right place. And we are back to the board now. So, yes, you can make any motion.
Well, I mean, does anybody else have any discussion?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, I'm going to make a motion on the request for a 11-foot front yard setback. I'm going to make a motion, we approve that based on the fact that it is a flag-shaped lot. His front existing property line is over 400 foot away from Highway 70.
Okay, yeah, the motion is to approve the variance of 11 feet on the front setback, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so we have a motion. Does he have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, he has a second. Now discussion. Now, it's a brand new lot, I mean, pretty new, 4 years old. What's the basis?
I thought I said he was over 450 foot.
I don't know, what's the, do you have anything that's?
It's an odd shaped lot.
They bought it. It's a new lot. It's 4 years old. I'm looking for something.
You want to go back about 3 cases where we allowed an existing house that was an existing garage. We allowed it to be up there.
If you want to make a motion to reconsider that when we're done, that's entirely up to you. But I think it's.
I've made my motion and we've got a second. I'll leave it at that.
So we really don't have a reason.
Well, the basis would be when that pole barn was constructed, it was 15 acres. It would have been greenbelted at that point in time before.
It's not automatically greenbelted. You have to qualify for a agricultural exemption.
It was greenbelted at the time that the pole barn was built?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it greenbelted when they pulled the permits?
We have it on record.
Y'all, if you would, let us hash this out a little bit, and if we need you, we'll call on you.
I would have to check with tax records on that.
Mm-hmm.
When it was with the 15 acres, because right now tax record shows 10.
So we're saying if it's green belted, the setbacks don't apply?
If you claim agricultural purposes for a structure, we cannot hold them to zoning requirements in our zoning resolution. That's going to get real fuzzy if we go down that rabbit hole, but yes.
Yeah, I understand, but just because it's on the green belt doesn't mean it's an agricultural use. It just means it qualifies for an agricultural tax exemption.
That is correct, and that's part of my argument, but I can't get anybody to confirm that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
It looks like what we got before us is that for the future, it looks like what they want to do is they've got this pole barn / house because there's a living quarters there. Build a new home, and I believe what he said is to have some other people move in the existing pole barn / house.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
It's if needed, we would have our parents be able to move and live in there. Yeah, instead of going into it.
But my motion and my comment was to break this in half is because if we don't clear up the front setback, well then nothing else matters, and I guess they'll be out there with a bulldozer next week tearing it down. Would that be?
But, okay.
So that's the reason
You get your question?
I broke it in half.
Okay. All right, any other questions? We have a motion on the floor, and that is to grant the 11-foot front yard setback variance request. If there's no other discussion, all in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
And how many we got? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. And opposed? 2. So the motion carries. Okay, now we're dealing with, if you wish, we're dealing with the 97 square foot on the existing house to be an auxiliary dwelling unit. Then do I hear a motion on that request? And you got to do something. You can't just not deal with it.
I can try to shed some light on it with new regulation that's going down the pipe, but I don't know if it's going to necessarily solve their problems. But they would have to hold off on pulling a permit till at least January with that.
And that actually may be the case.
And that, they need to realize, though, that that's,
That's speculative. I don't have any way. And I mean, that ordinance could also be deferred and it may not get approved till March. I mean, in a perfect scenario, it'll be approved in January, but I can't promise anything on that.
okay.
I've got a question in that regards. If we were to deny it today, but then the guidelines were to change in January, February, March, what does that do?
They would.
There's twofold to those guidelines that are going through. One of them is a request to increase it to 1,000 square foot, and even if that gets amended back, they'll probably be within that. But it also cleans up the definition of what an accessory dwelling unit is, and that limits it to 1 bedroom, 1 full bath, 1 kitchen and living area. This existing accessory dwelling unit has an office on it.
They're going to list the components.
Right, I understand that.
Because we've been getting the people that have, in the past, and I'm not singling out these people, that have predominantly needed larger accessory dwelling units than what we require, they're sticking more than what was intended for those in there. Those were always intended to be in-law suites or a college kid coming back from college's apartment away from the main residence. They were not developed to be second homes on properties.
So if we were to deny the 97 square feet, and at some point in the future, the commission passes the auxiliary dwelling unit adjustments, and let's say they make it 900 or 1,000, whatever.
Yep.
If they did that, then this particular request would be, even if we denied it, it wouldn't matter because
it would conform with our zoning requirements at the time.
Okay.
They would have to remodel it in some instance.
They would have to remodel because they have the too many components. Or they have a component that's not included.
They have an office, and you can't have an office in an accessory dwelling unit.
The way the new definition is. Now, that definition could get amended too to allow that, but I mean, we're talking about regulations that's not been passed.
Did they say that part of their thing was grandfathered in, that when they built it, that office space was allowed? I'm just thinking, I don't want to go down.
I don't think so, because especially if you all deny it because you've not approved it as an accessory dwelling unit, they're asking to conform it after the fact.
Okay.
So no, they would not be grandfathered into that.
I got you.
Okay. In regard to the request for a 97 square foot variance, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we deny that request. We have consistently on this board, I think, not allowed any variance on that. The applicant testified he did not feel like he could modify it to where there was 97 foot that would be not heated. So short of him being able to do that, I would have to say we'd have to move to deny.
Can I just correct that? Because I didn't say that I couldn't. I just said it would cut that room in.
Well, I think maybe my motion would be to deny. So I guess if he could modify it to where he fit under 600 foot, then he's good.
Relevant.
Okay. So that is your option. I mean, depending on how the vote goes, but my motion would be deny.
All right.
Based on staff recommendations.
I have a motion to deny the 97 foot. Do I have a second? Second. A motion and a second. Now discussion further, if necessary. If not, all in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, vote no.
No.
And we have 1 no. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that one. Thank you for coming. All right. Our next case is case 4356, Clear Story Builders, on behalf of James and Kay Christmas, is requesting a variance of 10 feet from the north side yard setback requirement of 15 feet for the existing house that is 5 feet from the north side yard property line. The variance is 5 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 15 feet for the existing house that is 10 feet from the south side property line. A variance of 3 feet from the north side yard setback requirement of 10 feet for the existing shed that is 7 feet from the north side property line, and a variance of 7 feet from the setback of 8 feet between the existing shed and the existing covered porch. These variances are needed in order to make a front porch addition that will meet setbacks. The property is located at 1085 Shadow Lane, Lot 2, Lake Forest Acres, being parcel 19 on Group C, Wilson County Tax Map 29J, consists of approximately 15,300 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4356.
I'm going to skip a portion of my comments just because they reiterate all those variances you listed, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
All right. All the above listed variances will allow the applicant to build a front porch addition which will meet setbacks. This is an older tract of record with the lot being created in May of 1959. The home on the property was built in 1967, which also predates our zoning ordinance. And the shed is also pre-existing. However, staff was unable to determine when the shed was constructed. It could not find a building permit on the shed. Because this is an older tract of record and the structures on the property are pre-existing, to the creation of the zoning ordinance, staff can recommend approval.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4356? Yes, sir.
I'm David Lutz. My company's Clear Story Builders, and yeah, we're trying to take down the old porch and put up a new porch.
Okay. And staff says this is an old lot of records, so you're eligible for significant forgiveness. And is this down by the lake or no? It is by the lake. Okay. Got you. Does the board have questions for the applicant?
Any idea on my comments say the shed is pre-existing, unable to determine when it was constructed, or do you any idea on the, I guess, accessory building?
I know the current owners bought the property in 2019, and the shed was there at that time. So it looks like one of those modular sheds that they probably moved in there probably in the 80s. So that's about all I know about that. We had a surveyor come out and survey the lot to give us all the dimensions, and the front porch is just in really bad conditions.
And this shed that's there, which may or may not be pre-existing, it needs a variance of 7 feet from
it's 1 foot away from the
right. It needs to be 8 foot, and so you're asking for a 7-foot variance.
Yes, sir.
So this shed is just one of these pick up and move sheds?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But there's really nowhere to move it to because the lots are really small.
And I'm going to assume these people didn't put it there.
Right, it was there when they bought the property in 2019.
Do we issue variances on haul them in sheds?
We have, it'd be the same as issuing variances on separation for when people have multiple carports on properties. Those are not super permanent structures, but we have. They're
not super permanent, but most of the time they are tied down to something. This doesn't even look like it's tied to the.
Yeah, it's just 79 concrete block.
Yeah. So you've been there?
Yeah, we visited. It's actually one of the better surveyed BZA cases we've been to in a long while.
Okay. So does the board have any questions for the applicant? And does anybody else wish to address 4356? No? Okay, and let me get this straight in my mind. We have several of these variances. Which one of these variances, Chris, so that I have it straight, affects the shed?
It was just the last one, so it's the 7-foot separation variance between structures. So
There's a variance of 3 feet from the north yard setback requirement of 10 feet for the existing shed. Is that correct?
Yes, it is closer. The house, if you take that shed off, that would need to be amended to a 4-foot variance because the shed sticks out 1 foot past the existing home. So you'd still need a side yard setback variance for the existing home. But yes, if you took that out, it would not need that. But the primary one for the shed would just be the separation between structures. You still will need a side yard setback variance if you take the shed off that aspect, based off my knowledge.
Well, it gets rather confusing, I know, but I'm trying to figure out if someone wants to make a motion to approve, because they have an older lot of record, the house deserves grandfather status. The shed, probably not, I mean, in my opinion. But if I want to make a motion to that regard, or anybody else does, with so many variances at play, I'm a little confused of what that might sound like. So, we would deny maybe the separation request, but then you still need a variance on the side yard.
Yes, sir.
But it changes.
It would, yes, sir.
To what?
It would be,
Or I can wordsmith.
no, it would be a variance of 5 feet for the existing home. See a variance? No, on that side, the north side yard, it'd be a variance of 10 feet for the existing structure. So there's two variances there. You've got the existing structure, which is the first one, the very first number that's listed in that agenda item, which is 10 feet off the north side yard setback for the existing structure. The shed also needs a side yard setback for the accessory structure requirement. So you could get rid of all the accessory structure setback requirements, which would be the separation and the north side yard setback for accessory structures. The home is listed specifically as a different variance.
If we disallowed the setbacks for the accessory structure, that would take care of everything on the accessory structure. Because you've got
Yes.
the house listed separately.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the house is 2 side yard setbacks, a 10-foot on the north side and a 5-foot on the south side.
I'm not concerned about the house because I think it's, without question.
And then, okay, so the accessory is a variance of 3 feet from the north side yard setback in order to be 7 feet from the property line. And then it also has the separation.
Okay. I think I get it. Okay. Turning to the board for a motion on 4356. Do I hear a motion?
I'll try one, but I may not be as clear. I don't know.
I think what he's telling us, if you want to make a motion to approve.
I've got an idea. Can I just say it and then we'll?
You
tweak
can.
it? I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the variances on 4356, excluding the variances regarding the shed.
I think that's what he said. And I'll second. Now, discussion. No discussion? All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Shortly.
So, can he move the shed?
Yeah, but you'll have to move it before you can get a permit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, case 4357, Cheryl Farley, on behalf of Stacy Rose, is requesting a variance of 20 feet from the north rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. The proposed house will be 20 feet from the north rear property line. The property is located at 14 Lake Forest Drive, Lot 1, Robert Turner, parcel 16.01 on Wilson County Tax Map 29, consists of 0.8 acres, zone R1 residential. We get staff recommendations now on 4357.
The applicant is requesting a variance of 20 feet from the north rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. The proposed house will be 20 feet from the north rear yard property line. This is not an older tract of record, with the lot being created in February of 1986. This is a corner lot with 2 front and 2 rear setbacks, with the recorded plat stating the home is to front Lake Forest Drive, so that is specific for this lot. The board has set a precedence with variances being granted for corner lots. I do need to mention, however, due to this being a true rear yard setback, due to the requirement that the home must face Lake Forest Drive, staff cannot recommend approval of this setback. In the history in the past, when you've granted variances on corner lots, it is a rear yard or a front yard that could be more interpreted as a side yard based on the way the home is facing. Now, this would be a true rear yard because the home is required to face Lake Forest Drive. So I don't hope I haven't muddied that up, but that's the reasoning between the can't recommend it.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4357 Farley or Rose?
Cheryl.
All right. Come right on.
Cheryl Farley, 1349 Gresham Park Drive in Murfreesboro.
And what would you like to tell the board, ma'am?
Willard, I represent the seller and the buyer that is under contract to purchase this lot. This is what they're trying to get the variance to build their house. And there's an issue with locating it because of the way the septic leach lines are and the septic tank location. So this was their proposed.
Build a house?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a house.
No. There's not a house on there.
We show a house.
There was one at one time.
There was a
There's
trailer
not a
a
house.
long time ago.
It doesn't look like a trailer.
Yeah.
But the house is gone.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's it. So are you saying that the house would need to front differently? Like change how the house
No,
is set?
Can't front differently, I believe what he's.
You'd have to get a plat amendment for that.
Okay.
Which I mean you're right, but at present with the home having to face Lake Forest Drive, the variance request that you're requesting a variance for would be a true rear yard. It can't be something that's interpreted as a side yard based off the way the home is facing.
Okay.
This is not an old lot of record.
No, sir. No.
And there's no home there now. So there's no reason it couldn't comply with the setbacks.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where do I need to tell them to change their footprint? Because I think they were going, is it 40 yards for a setback, rear setback?
40 feet.
40 feet, I'm sorry, 40 feet?
Yeah.
Because that's what they have on here, and then they're asking for 20.
I think they've got more house than they got building envelope for.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look, it's on the plat there. You can see
I
that.
don't think they've got an extra 20 foot to move it toward the front. So they've got more house than they've got, the way I read it.
Other questions from the board? And anyone else here wish to address 4357? Commissioner, morning.
Lauren Breeze, 1014 Bellwood Drive, County Commissioner for District 18. I've got a couple of different questions on this particular situation. One is the setbacks, which you already discussed. Secondly, as was mentioned previously on this lot, was just a trailer. And I have a field activity report in my hand from TDEC about the septic there. So the septic actually was last inspected in 2012, and it's actually only approved for a 2-bedroom house. And even then, there's a field activity report here. I will read it to you, and you're welcome to take a look at it. This was from November 9th, 2012. And it says, this was signed by Lori Gibson, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. It says, per phone call from Mr. Dalton, a switch valve has been located and turned. We'll give it a few days and revisit. 11/9/12, site visit made. Failure has dried up. Return to main file. And then there's a second complaint here that they're addressing that sewage was on the ground. So we're dealing with sewage on the ground for a trailer, which makes me wonder as to what, if a 2-bedroom septic is big enough for it. And hopefully you have the plans.
Commissioner, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
She said trailer, you said trailer. The picture we got shows what I would assume is a good-sized house.
I remember there being a smaller house. Now, again,
I mean, you're down
I'm
there.
hearing
I don't even.
right. Well, it's gone now.
Roof.
Right, yes. So
Tarp on it.
I always considered it a small house, but the definition I've been given by both the neighbor and then obviously in prior testimony was trailer. So I'm using the word trailer.
Got you.
What I remember being there was actually just a smaller home, like maybe 1,000 square feet. I mean, it was a small home, at least That was my understanding of what I saw.
Do we
So-
know, I mean, since you brought up the field activity reports from groundwater, does anybody have any idea if it was ever really permitted for a septic and a number of bedrooms assigned, like?
I think it was permitted for 2 bedrooms. That's my understanding.
Gotcha.
So, and then hopefully you guys have the document that I got from Karen. Oh, you do, the plat there. As you can see, they're looking at trying to build a 4,400 square foot house, an attached 950 square foot garage. And then if you go back over on, because you can see it's kind of an irregular shaped yard. And then they're also looking to build a detached RV garage, which would be 2,400 square feet, as well as a 625 square foot workshop. So I have the same concerns that Mr. Neal does about the ability of this lot to handle that much square footage.
Okay.
So, thank you.
And, yes, ma'am.
Kelly Thompson, 2475 Saundersville Ferry Road. We are the neighbors for this property. This is my husband, David.
I'm David Thompson. It's just too close. I mean, 20 feet, their back door would be on our driveway.
So y'all are right, but you're this property right here beside?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I, years ago, when Carol Faye Dalton lived there, we tried to purchase that, square our lot off. You see how it's cut right there? And I paid to have a soil test done to see if her soils were adequate because there had been problems. He said he didn't know how it was ever approved to begin with. So there's a problem with the soils on that lot for a double wide trailer. You know there's a problem for a 4,000 square foot home.
Got you. All right. Thank y'all.
I still want my...
Absolutely.
And my other concern would be pulling in and out of our driveway. It would be very hard for us to see, and people fly down that road all the time. And that's a major concern as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close public comment in regard to 4357 and turn to the board. Any more discussion, or do we need a motion?
I'm going to make a motion that we deny this upon staff recommendation.
Have a motion to deny 4357 based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. Thank everyone for coming.
Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah, we can let Perry handle that. Our next case is case 4358. Carol Dawson requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. If approved, the proposed accessory structure will be 25 feet. Property is located at 509 Wilson Drive, Lot 6. Smoke Rise is parcel 8, Group A, Wilson County Tax Map 73C. Consists of approximately 45,300 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4378.
Mr. Chair, the applicant has
What?
Did you say 78?
I said 4858.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's what I should have said.
Okay. Correct. 4358 509 Wilson Drive. Applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the height variance. The proposed accessory building will be approximately 90 feet from Wilson Drive.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4358 Dawson?
Carolyn Dawson at 509 Wilson Drive, Mount Juliet.
And what would you like to tell the board, ma'am?
Well, we were wanting to build a garage, two-car garage with a room above for activity up on the second floor, like a bonus room with a deck, and storage with our two-car garage at the bottom.
Okay. Does the board have questions for the applicant?
The the area above would not be used as a dwelling unit. Nobody would live in it.
we would, it would be like a bonus room.
Okay.
We were wanting a bathroom, and we didn't want to have to go back into our main house.
Other questions? Anyone else wish to address 4358 Dawson? Thank you, ma'am. And we'll close public comment, and I'll turn to the board now for a motion or discussion, if we need it, on 4358, 3-foot height variance.
I've got a quick question from Christopher.
All
What
right.
point-
Bathroom does not constitute a living area.
Okay, that was my question.
Yep.
You read my mind on that one.
Would this be a metal structure
It's a board and batten vinyl.
or batten vinyl?
Our house is 50 years old. There's no way to match the brick.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know, I think we've got in our, how far it would be off the side property? It's what, 90 foot off the road?
Well, the drawing we've got shows that the driveway is 50 foot off the property.
Okay, yeah, I see you now.
And the building seems to be,
Matching that.
seems to be.
Yeah,
got
it's just going to be
Yeah, right in line with the current driveway.
Would it be shingled as well, or tin roof?
we were looking at doing a metal roof. But we can change that if we need to.
Other questions?
Christopher, I know, and I don't want to get into something we don't, I know there could be a zoning ordinance coming down the pike on heights. Is that,
I have to write recommendations with what I have in.
well, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a zoning ordinance that changes that, and this lot would probably not need to come before you if that, as written, is approved, but that's not what I have in front of me at the present
It
time.
doesn't, okay, I do understand that.
Okay. Any more discussion or to hear a motion in regard to 4358?
If you're unable to match the building material due to the brick being 60 years old, would another...
That's a good question, Mr. Chris.
Are you talking about like a close second?
Well, hardy batten board would be considered masonite structure outside of a tin building.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna try to get an interpretation, I would probably, the home is brick. I know hardy batten board is still a masonry product, but it doesn't look the same as brick. I would have, if they're gonna try to make that pitch, it would need to be a brick garage.
Okay. All right. I think Justin's question is well put. That,
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a 50-year-old brick, you're not going to be able to match it.
Right.
With anything. I mean,
That is correct.
I mean, it's maybe similar, but you can't get that same brick, obviously. But you're saying the fact that it's not brick is disqualifying.
That's what I would lean on. I mean, if I have to interpret something of that age for that nature, saying we can't find our product, what can we do to match the primary building material? Because it says the primary building material. It doesn't say that it has to be the same color brick. We don't have anything in there like that, but batten board is not the primary building material of the home.
Well, it was a good question, and I think you have a good answer. Okay. All right, do I hear a motion in regard to 4358? Don't everybody jump out there at once.
Well, I'll go somewhere with it, but I don't,
This is scary.
I know, that's the reason I'm being quiet for right now.
Well, we've had one, and we've got one still to deal with.
But each
case it stands on its own.
stands on its own merits.
Yep, I think those are my words. So do I hear a motion in regard to 4358?
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we grant this variance.
Have a motion to grant 4358.
Based on the fact that it is a very minimum, it's a 3-foot variance, and she is quite a ways from the front, she's 90 foot from the front property line and 50 foot from the side property lines.
And does he have a second?
He does second.
He does. Have a motion and a second. And do you want me to remind you that none of that's relevant?
Sure.
Well, just consider yourself reminded.
Okay. I won't take it personal.
All right. So a discussion on the motion. If not, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no. I vote no. 2 noes, 3 noes.
3 noes.
And the motion is,
Fails.
is failed, it's not approved. Okay. So, sorry, your variance request was denied.
So how can we, I guess I should say, how can we build this then?
Chop 3 feet off the height.
Hold on just.
But you can't, I would be able to stand up upstairs. Not even me.
So I think it would be better if you visited with staff after the meeting, or, give them a call another day, because I don't think that's something we can really discuss and do you justice, here this morning.
Okay. All right, just go back to the zoning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and,
All right.
and chat with them. And as was pointed out by Chris and Perry here, there's a amendment coming down the pike that would make this not required. It would probably bring you in compliance all by itself, and you wouldn't have to do anything. We can't tell you when it's going to pass. Right. It's scheduled to go before the commission now in January.
It would be January in a perfect world, yes.
Yeah, so 2 months, this may be irrelevant.
A little patience might go a long ways.
All right.
Or may not.
So, and it's winter time. I don't think they're going to do a whole lot anyway. But we can't guarantee that. We can't consider it.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Our next case is case 4359. Daniel Douglas is requesting a variance of 11 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. If approved, the proposed accessory structure will be 33 feet. The property is located at 550 Burnhouse Road, Lot 1, Stuart Knowles property, parcel 19.01 on Wilson County Tax Map 125, consists of 11.6 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations now on 4359.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 11 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the height variance. This proposed accessory structure will be approximately 200 feet off of Burnt House Road.
Okay, who's here to represent 4359? And give us your name and address, please, sir.
Daniel Douglas, 550 Burnt House Road.
Anything you'd like to tell the board, sir?
Basically, we want to build a 2-car garage. We want to match the architectural style with the home. So I know we can build up to 35 feet if we brick the whole thing, because our house is brick, and we just wanted to brick the front of it. And we found plans online of a structure that we want to build, and that's basically what.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the applicant? So, Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you there, but
No, you're fine. I'm doing math.
he's got the home, he's got the house. If he matches the pitch and the finish, he doesn't need to be here.
That is correct. And he can be up to 35 feet if he matches the pitch and the finish. Otherwise, I mean, even with our, we wouldn't allow an accessory structure with that height unless it meets the pitch and the finish.
Gotcha. Okay. Again,
So he's saying he will match the front, but not, but I guess the ordinance says you got to match it on all 4 walls. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's the language in the ordinance, yes. It's the primary building material and the pitch of the existing home. That would be the entire structure, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant or the staff? And if not, anyone else here wish to address 4359 Douglas?
So is he asking for a variance for the 3 sides to be metal and just the front to be brick?
Could that be a variance?
Yeah, I mean, because the language in the zoning ordinance is it has to match the primary building material and the roof pitch. If he's going on record that he's going to match the primary building material on one side, you could grant the height variance with the understanding that the primary building material is only going to be matched on one side.
We wouldn't be granting a height variance. We'd be granting
yeah.
a exterior wall finish variance.
Yes.
In essence, then would trigger approval of the height.
Yes, that would be correct.
The only problem is you
That's
didn't
not,
advertise.
yeah, that's not what's before you currently. That is true. That is not what is before you.
So let's say this gentleman wanted to take that approach, and we didn't advertise it, so I'm leery about entertaining motions for things that weren't advertised.
I think this.
Amend, and then we hear him next month with another advertisement, or?
I think you just need to withdraw this case and reapply with the correct application.
Does he have to pay again?
You all can defer that payment for this request since he's before you on that account. Left to our own devices, yes, we would require another application fee because we have to process that.
If the board or he decided they wanted to take that type of action, he would request withdrawal, and we would waive further application fee.
Correct, you can do that. If you choose to do that, I would recommend that you put a time constraint on there. I don't want him waiting 2 years before he comes in and reapplies and having that waiver fee on there.
I understand. Okay. Good deal. I'm sorry, I get tied up in all this and I forget where I am. You've made your statement. The board had their questions.
I've got one more.
Go ahead.
Do you have a picture of the proposed dwelling you want to turn in for the record? Because we don't have that.
You don't, and I didn't know I needed to provide.
Well, you don't need to, but I mean, you could always, if you wanted to turn it.
I mean, we're gonna flip this, but yeah, that was basically what we're.
Okay. And I'm not, by no means am I saying this is what we're going to do. I'm just clarifying for the board what other options might be. Okay. Anyone else here wish to address 4359? Douglas. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Kelly Manager. I live at 550 Burnt House Road as well. I guess the other reason we're asking for the height requirement beyond just matching the house is the fact that the roof pitch would sit below our house roof pitch. So we're also trying to match the roof heights so that it doesn't look like it's a much smaller building next to our house roof heights.
What is the height of your roof height roughly?
At the main piece, I believe it's, well, I didn't measure it because it's 30.
I mean, I saw the picture of it. It did look tall, yeah.
Yeah, it's very tall.
Okay, it did.
Okay. Is anyone else here wish to address the case of 4359 Douglas? And one question for you, sir. If the board, would you like to withdraw this case and reapply for a variance for the exterior finish?
I kind of thought that's what I was doing.
No, actually, well, what we've got, what was advertised, and it's important that we consider what was advertised in the advertisement, because this is a public hearing. So we can't just change to a separate variance without re-advertising.
We can amend requests, like if the height was wrong, that would be something that we could amend, but these are separate variances.
We had no information until you testified that you were going to match part of the front of this accessory building with your other building, and based on that, you want a variance on the other three sides of your exterior. You're not wanting a height variance.
I guess that's kind of what I described when I made the application, and I actually said, yeah, I'm really just requesting a variance on the exterior.
Well, that's not what.
That's what I got.
But the way the ordinance.
You may have worded it right, but
the way the ordinance is written, I guess either one would apply, right? I could see.
Here's the thing: you don't have a basis, the way I see it, for a height variance. There's no grounds for it, really. However, you probably, based on your location, the board might be comfortable granting a variance on finish on the exterior because you're so far off the road and you're going to brick the front, and that's probably something doable. So when you brick the front, you're going to match.
Once you get finished, I just have a question.
Okay, so that's sort of where we are now. Karen.
You're talking about public notice, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Public notice just says variance. There's all sorts of variances, and public notice just says variance.
So this.
It's not specific. It states in the public notice that if anybody wants any more information in regards to it, they are to call the office.
So when we do these advertisements, they don't say, he won't say this, because when I've read them before, I thought it was, a limited amount of information was there.
It says variance, in regards to variance. Now, if it's some kind of use or something, then it'll say like the limousine.
I still think we're on shaky ground.
I just wanted to point that out.
I mean, if somebody, I don't know that anybody, I doubt highly somebody called your office and wanted information on this particular case,
Yes.
but
The letters did go out as a height variance. The public notice just says variance.
okay. I would hope we would err on the side of caution and make sure we keep everything as square as we can. Okay? So anyway, if you want to withdraw, that's up to you. We'll consider that, and the board may consider a motion to waive the fee if you reapply within 90 days. Or
Yeah, that's
some
fine.
reasonable period of time.
Don't leave it open-ended, please.
I mean, I'd like to do it tomorrow, so that's fine. Whatever's going to be the easiest for you guys to approve, I guess. But it just means I have to come back here and miss another day of work.
It's already gotten past easy. It's your call. Or if you don't want to make a call, you can just say, I'm not going to make it, and we'll vote on it as it stands. But that's just it. Now, if we vote on it the way it stands, it may not, you can't come back next month.
You vote, and then I can tell you what I will do.
No.
No. If they vote on it, you can't come back for 6 months.
Yeah, I understand.
Just while we're having a lot of discussion here, just for discussion purposes, as far as the height variance, you're asking for a whole lot. You're asking for 11 foot on a 22 foot.
We just denied.
Just in general information here, you're asking for a lot of variance on the height. So I'll leave that at that.
All right, I'll withdraw. But I will withdraw and
This is not Jeopardy. You get to make your own decision.
Yeah. I'll withdraw and then I'll reapply.
Okay, based on the applicant's request, do I hear a motion that we allow him to withdraw 4359?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I have that motion,
We
and
need to, he doesn't have to pay to reapply, correct?
I'm gonna do that on another.
Okay, you're gonna do this.
Let's get him out first.
Okay, all right.
So you made a motion. Howard, you second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. The ayes have it. You're withdrawn. Now, do I hear a motion that we allow Mr. Daniel Douglas to reapply for his sidewall finish material variance within the next 90 days with no additional fee?
So moved.
Have a motion. Have a second?
Second.
So have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Comments?
Yeah, let me add, Neil or Manning second?
Manning.
Pick one.
Manning.
Manning, okay.
He's not hollering, so he'd be okay with that. Any discussion? And if not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. Thank you, sir. We'll see you back.
Thank you.
All right. We might ought to defer 4360 till the end of the meeting.
Sure.
What did you say?
I know these guys have been sitting back there all morning. I thought we just. Our next case is case 4360, Jimmy Comer, requesting an additional variance of 34 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 60 feet. A variance of 13 feet was approved by the board in April. If the additional variance is approved, the proposed sign will be a total of 13 feet from the property line. The property is located at 1510 Murfreesboro Road, parcel 53.01 on Wilson County Tax Map 92. It consists of 14 acres and is zoned A1 agricultural. Let's get staff recommendations now on 4360.
The applicant is requesting a variance of 34 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 60 feet. This is in addition to the 13 feet that was previously approved in April. If the additional variance is approved, the proposed sign will be a total of 13 feet from the property line. There was an existing billboard on the property that was grandfathered, and they could replace that today without any sort of variances. But this billboard is being relocated to the other side of the property. The grandfathered billboard was 13 feet off of the existing right-of-way. They're just asking to be to conform with what was there. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval due to the fact that they are relocating the billboard, and that would trigger, you'd have to come into compliance with the existing regulations.
Would you consider this a better location than the original sign?
As far as visibility on 231, I mean, it was the Sea Rock City sign there. I felt like it was pretty visible in the location it was in. My personal opinion, I don't necessarily think that matters, but.
All right, that's fine. Who's here to represent 4360? Jimmy Comer.
Jimmy Comer, 418 Stumpy Lane. One thing before I make some comments on it, Chris, help me. This point of clarification here on it. This property was zoned agricultural, but we changed the zoning back in the summer to commercial.
That's per the state requirements. They will not allow billboard permits on anything zoned other than commercial. That's a state
Point of clarification, this is commercial property on it, Karen.
It is commercial.
And as far as the location on it, the Rock City sign was a one-sided sign on it. By moving this thing on it, it allows for both sides to be quite visible. Yep. That other side was only visible from one side of it. But we think it's a more desirable location on it. I'd be glad to answer any questions, and I appreciate your consideration.
We only do with one sign. You're not going to have one where it was and one where you're going. One sign.
Relocated, went from the south side of the property to the north side.
Gotcha.
I've got just a quick question. It says a variance of 13 feet was approved by the board on April of 2025. Is there any significant reason why?
We kind of, the numbers got a little, we may have got a little hairy on the numbers. Karen can correct me on this deal on it. We're just trying to be correct on it. It's going exactly the same distance from the road and from the property line that it was before on it. And there was a little confusion when we did it early on. We're just trying to clear it all up, Chris.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong.
Based off the way it was written, and Mr. Comer admits he signed the application and everything.
May have been an error on it. We're just trying to.
The original variance was granted of 13 feet. His initial request is he wanted to be 13 feet. Correct. So that.
Miscommunication.
I'll take my share of blame on that.
He needed 13 feet of setback.
No, I'm not blaming anybody.
The rest of a 15-foot setback variance. So
I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Board have any questions for the applicant still? Okay. If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4360 Comer? Okay. And if not, returning to the board after closing the public hearing, do we have a motion in regard to 4360? And I'll move we approve the request. Since we're not adding an additional sign, we're replacing a sign that was already there on the property to another location, but that's my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Now discussion. And if there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. Then the ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Hope I don't see you for a while. No.
All right. Our next case is case 4361. Billy England is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 10 feet. The existing shed 5 feet from the east side yard property line. The variance is needed in order for applicant to build a detached accessory dwelling unit that will meet the setbacks. The property is located at 512 Sandy Drive, Lot 127. Royal Oaks is parcel 8, Group E on Wilson County Tax Map 31M, consists of approximately 13,000 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We get staff recommendations now on 4361.
The applicant is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 10 feet for the existing garage. The variance is needed for the applicant to build a detached accessory dwelling unit that will meet setbacks. This is an older tract of record with the lot being created in September of 1973. The shed is pre-existing. However, staff was unable to determine when the shed was constructed. Because this is an older tract of record and the shed on the property is pre-existing, staff has no issue in recommending approval.
Who's here to represent 4361 England?
Yes, sir. Billy England, 512 Sandy Drive.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
Nothing outside of just, I'm looking to build an ADU for my mother on the west side of the property. I had no idea I was not in compliance with the shed.
All right. Does the board have questions for the applicant?
Sure, I'll come up with one.
Yes, sir.
Hate for you to feel like you got left out after we've been quizzing everybody.
Thank you.
Obviously, you're on a really, really small lot here, 13,000 square feet. This may not matter, but just for my curiosity, I would assume you're on public sewer, or what type of public sewer you on?
Correct. Just public sewer, yes, sir.
Would it be a step system, or would it be like city sewer?
City.
City sewer, okay. And this is not regarding to you, but maybe to staff or just in general. Of course, I look at this whole neighborhood here. You know, I mean, you know, if everybody in the whole neighborhood put a ADU in, and they were say on a not city sewer, but say on a step system that was maybe already at capacity.
Yeah.
Would that not be an issue? Could that not be an issue? Not with him. He's on city sewer, but they just brought that to my attention. Could there potentially be an issue with allowing too many ADUs on a step system that may already be stressed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, is there not any way to?
You want a more detailed answer?
Well, no. I don't. You know, is that something that
Y'all can have that discussion.
Okay. Well, it may need to be discussed somewhere down.
And as far as
We'll discuss it.
for the shed, since this is an older property and I don't have any validation on when the shed was built, if it was built prior to 2015, it would have met accessory structure setbacks, but I just don't have a permit on it to validate that.
Okay. Anyone else here wish to address 4361 England? Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm back again. Lauren Breeze, 1014 Bellwood Drive, County Commissioner for District 18. So Sandy Drive is actually right above Star Drive, and it goes on to Nonaville. So Star Drive has a history of issues with flooding and stormwater problems, to the point that Road Commission is very, very familiar with the area because they've had to go in and try to deal with drainage problems. So the neighbors who are just south of this property are just concerned about the possibility of adding more non-pervious rooftop, and if that might create runoff issues potentially more onto their property since they're already dealing with problems. So I did reach out to James Faden, who did email me back this morning, and he said this lot looks okay for a stormwater permit, but if needed, we would ask for a critical lot plan from an engineer when inspected. So I just wanted to just get that on the record, that if there are stormwater problems in future, that we did bring that to.
For a permit.
Yes.
It goes for a
Yeah, and James called me this morning as well to answer any questions because he knew he couldn't be here. If you have any follow-up questions on the stormwater stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So when he goes for a permit, then they'll classify this as a critical lot.
He's already done an evaluation on the lot due to Lauren Breeze's call. This lot would not be classified as critical based off the size of the structure and what he's in. He will still have to go through minimum stormwater permit requirements, but he's already looked at the lot and he does not think it validates a critical lot.
Okay.
Okay,
Like I said,
let me ask this though. Would there be any plan, I know you're not him, but would there be any plan to do anything to mitigate? It's 500 square feet, so it's not a great big rooftop.
Correct.
But would there be any plan in these type of things in general to mitigate additional runoff? Because Perry brought up, the septic and whatnot, but we're also adding, when we add these things, we're adding additional rooftops.
Correct. As far, you're just talking about in general, not just this property at that point.
But
yeah. They could, in most residential aspects on a one-off building like this, I don't think it's going to trigger anything significantly on drainage. Now, there could be, this entire property, sides and rear, does have a public utility and drainage easement completely around the peripheral. Now, we all know water doesn't stick to those lines, but there could be something done on these properties in these older neighborhoods and even in the newer ones that a drain or something could be set up.
Side of some of these lots, just a 1-foot berm, something really shallow with a 4-inch pipe through it to throttle the water a little bit.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a whole lot to ask. and certainly would yield some benefit.
And that could, and I know some of it to help with infiltration. James has prohibited downspouts to, direct water farther away from the structure, and I think they're the splash. I don't know. They come straight down off the structure as opposed to directing water in one direction or another.
Okay. All right.
Right. Yeah, the point is I just wanted to get it on record that Star Drive does have issues with standing water when it rains. And I'm talking about like a foot or two of standing water in some of these yards. So we just wanted to ensure that if they added something above them, that it didn't exacerbate the flood issues.
This increase in the auxiliary dwelling size came before the Planning and Zoning Committee Thursday night, last Thursday night. And I watched, and they didn't spend a lot of time on that issue. They didn't spend a whole lot of time on any out there, in and out in 45 minutes. But I'm not criticizing, but I'm just going to tell you, commissioners, that there are going to be a lot of people wanting these things.
Right, I understand.
And you're going to end up with a whole lot of mini apartment complexes.
Right, I hear you.
And I really don't know what
I want to jump in on that too, like everything. I really wonder about, especially as ADUs get larger, if there ought not be a minimum lot size on an ADU.
That would make complete sense.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, whether it be an acre, two, whatever it is, especially if they go to 1,000. That's not in front of us today.
Maybe maybe it ought to be 600 square foot minimum. And then if you have a larger lot,
you have a 2-acre lot, you can go up to 1,000.
Go up. But just turning these things loose on just
totally agree.
Go build them. You've got issues with the septic, and you've got issues with the stormwater, and I mean, Commissioner Evans and I were talking about this the other day, and that's you take somebody that's got a decent sized house on a decent sized lot. Let's say they're 15 acres and they say, well, I'm agricultural. Well, I'm eligible for we don't mean to hold you up too much, but I'm eligible for a dwelling unit on my lot for a farmhand, a caretaker, what do you want to call it? So that's one person. Then I get me an ADU, that's two people.
Right.
And that's all legal. And that doesn't count the two people I'm going to stick upstairs that you don't know anything about and rent those places out. So before you know it, you got 7 or 8 people living on this tract. So
if they all feed the same septic tank, then we've got a problem.
Maybe
we need to address that and make sure that septic tanks,
there are
get a 4-bedroom septic, 4 bedrooms total, feed into it, no matter how many.
I don't know that.
I think that's already in the ordinance. I would hope on an ADU. I think if you're at capacity on a house, you can't add an ADU. Can you?
You have to prove that your septic system can handle the additional bedroom. If it cannot, we require you to install a 1-bedroom septic that's separate from the primary home.
Right.
But
all right.
I would hope that other considerations would be made.
Thank you.
Okay.
And to your point, Chairman, thankfully, the previous homeowner, he did install a berm in my backyard. So it was there when I got there to slow the water that goes on the neighbors behind me.
Well, that was nice of it.
Yeah, yes. It's hard to mow. It works.
Well, I don't think things need to get outrageous,
Yes, sir.
but a little bit of berm and a pipe here and there would, on private property, would, and the only time we can require them is when we're doing something like this. We can't go back and ask people to do it after the fact.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It works.
All right. Anyone else wish to speak to 4361, Billy England? And if not, we'll close that public comment and turn to the board for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve this based on staff recommendation.
I have a motion to approve based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. And let me amend that, if I could, please, to just require that you get with the stormwater people
Yes, sir.
before you get your permit, okay? And are y'all okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if there's any discussion on the motion, and if there's not, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no, and the ayes have it. All right, thank you for coming. Sorry we stalled you so long.
No worries. Thank you all.
All right. And our next case is case 4362, Southern Marinas, Cedar Creek LLC, requesting a short-term rental renewal. The board approved the short-term rental on December 19th of '24 for a period of 1 year. The property located at 9000 Saundersville Road Jennings property, parcel 41 on Wilson County Tax Map 32, consists of 2.16 acres and is zoned R1 residential. The property became of record May of 1972. Get staff recommendations now on 4362.
Applicant is requesting a short-term rental. The board renewed the short-term rental on December 19th, 2024 for a period of 1 year with the following conditions. The maximum number of occupants is at 8. Business plan was part of the approval. And any changes to that request would be required to come back before you. The business plan submitted upholds all the conditions listed above. The use and amenities of the property have not changed, nor have there been any public complaints about the property to staff's knowledge, and that's to our office or the sheriff's office. There's no language in the zoning ordinance granting staff permission to renew short-term rental approvals. However, the board may consider this request. Staff will point out that in renewal cases such as this, if the request is approved, the board has typically granted an extended renewal period on second and third request.
Okay, who's here to represent 4362 Cedar Creek?
Tanya Bristow, 9000 Sonersville Road, Mount Juliet.
Anything you'd like to tell the board?
No, we behaved for a whole year, so we're here for a 5-year extension.
Better than we do. Better than I do. I appreciate that.
All right, does the board have questions for the applicant? Okay, if not, you're the only one left.
All right, last time today, Lauren Breeze, 1014 Bellwood Drive, County Commissioner for District 18. I have had no issues with this Airbnb, so I've had no complaints. Nobody's talked to me about it. I think renewal will be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there's no one else, then we'll close public comment. Turning to the board in regard to 4362, I'll move that we approve the renewal for a period of 3 years with the stipulation that all of the original stipulations and requirements of the board are attached to the renewal. You know, your business plan, everything that went with the original approval is again attached to the 3-year renewal. Yeah. Right. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second?
Okay, who's second this time?
Give this to Sonia.
Sonia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's up to you. Okay. All right.
We have them all.
Is this 3 years from the December date or today?
Did you send
Today.
Today.
or today?
Today.
Well, last year when I came, it was.
This supersedes that.
Yeah, so the way that works, as long as it doesn't expire, you have to apply back to the office before your expiration date.
3 years from today.
Yes, so I mean, you can either come back in 3 years on the November deadline, as long as you apply, which our deadlines are before the meetings. So you could be on that November agenda, and we would still count that as you're in keeping with the requirements.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day.
Now, Mr. Lawless, do you have other things we need to talk about?
I do not. The only thing that would be different from, you all already approved the calendar. On our end, we did change the submittal deadline to meet some public notice requirements, for some state public notice requirements, but you all have already approved the calendar, but nothing has changed on your all's part there. But if you did notice, the deadline is 7 days sooner than it originally was.
And I don't know, this may be you, it may be Karen. If and when, I know Christopher presented three zoning ordinance revisions the other night.
Yeah, there's just 3. Yes, sir.
When and if those are approved by the commission, could you put a copy of them in our packet? So that we just know they got approved and know what got approved.
Okay.
All right, just so we know. And
I don't have anything else. I've got a meeting with the mayor about continuing that. I know that's been a consideration. And I've listened to a couple of you all on it. I'm thinking instead of doing a 4-hour session, which seems to be long and drug out, the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Planning Commission about like what you all are legally required to do as far as like communication with the public and everything. I was going to do a joint, just a 2-hour session with Planning Commission and BOZA, and then there's going to be separate sessions, BOZA specifically only, about any questions that you all want to ask that are just BOZA related. There will be an expert here for that as well. That is a 2-hour session, which is just the BOZA members, and then I'll have another one with planning.
I am opposed to any joint educational meetings.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I understand what you're trying to do, same topic you think, but too many times when we go to these joint meetings, and I applaud the fact we're going to break them down into 2 meetings. I think that helps a lot, people not having to sit there for so long. But too many times we get off on things that aren't relevant to the.
Well, the joint session in this instance is not supposed to be, or I can't say what the questions are going to be, but this is just more of the ex parte communication, what you can and can't discuss outside of the meeting, what your motions need to be pivoted on is that one joint, because both boards are having discrepancies on like why you're making a motion and if it's defendable in court.
That. I just think the planning commission and a zoning board are so different. People think they're similar, and they're really not. Two entirely different things. I think they're so different that the education that we get should be targeted toward each of the boards.
Yes, sir.
That's my input. I noticed y'all rarely listen to it, but you know. All right.
I've got a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Can we go ahead and dismiss? Are we done? Are we still on the?
Depending on what you want to talk about.
All right, just general chit chat. I move we dismiss. We need a motion.
We don't. We're adjourned.
We're adjourned. Is this what you get when you approve PUDs in R1?